Oh, you're waiting for me?
Yeah.
We're on right now?
Yeah, we're on right now.
I don't believe me. Welcome back, Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast, where hot boy summer's over and it's cold boy cunts live. That's why I asked you if you had that drop.
What?
No, my cunt.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Anyways, I've totally derailed this already, but who cares? Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. We're here. Week 6 underway. It's week 6, right?
Can we give a shout out to 1K followers?
Hey. Got him.
1K followers on Instagram. Thank you.
Done 'em.
What are we doing?
We're waiting for you to give it another shot.
Oh, okay. Well, you got to pass it over, dude. This is a game of fucking back and forth here, guy. You got to fucking give me that set. I'll spike it.
It's like ping and a pong.
Hey, you got to ping your pong sometimes. Before we start this episode, this matchups episode, I just want to let you know that we got a couple things going on right now. Right now, if you put in promo code AverageBros to the Thrive Fantasy app, Thrive Fantasy, THRIVE, Thrive Fantasy, download that app. When you sign up, use promo code AverageBros. You pay $10. They'll give you another $10 free to use for the app. Really helps out the podcast. So if you are into daily fantasy sports, it's actually more of like a prop betting app, but it's pretty easy. You could actually win some money on it. Go ahead and download that app, put $10 in it, check it out, try it out. What's $10? I fart $10. Do you guys fart $10?
Dude, that's only like one Chipotle burrito, double meat, add the guac.
Think about it. Out of one Chipotle burrito, you could help us out. I think that's worth it.
Yeah.
Help out your friendly neighborhood fantasy consigliares.
Talking about
and then also real quick before we start, we're doing a giveaway currently right now. So if you're listening to this, go check out our Instagram page. All you got to do is tag 3 friends in one of our posts. It says Marlon Mack. It's a free Marlon Mack signed jersey. All you got to do is comment, tag 3 friends, follow us, and like the post, and you are automatically entered to win. This is a legit giveaway.
Yeah, we're giving away. Sunday we pick the winner.
Yeah, Sunday we're gonna pick the winner.
We're sending it no flub.
We're gonna send it no flub, no fucking flub, bro. Besides that, let's get this started, huh, Tyler?
Let's get it on. We should get like a Let's Get It On drop where it's like the
Let's Get
UFC,
It On.
Or what's the guy? Bruce Buffer.
Yeah. I think it's Bruce.
time.
I think it's Bruce Arians.
Bruce Arians.
No, it might not be.
All right. We'll jump into some news. You guys want to start with the news?
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about? The fantasy consigliere, Sonny Michel.
Yeah, let's talk. Let's go over this.
A little Thursday night recap.
Yeah. Let's go over this Thursday night game. I fucking hate Bill Belichick. Apparently I hate Tom Brady actually, because this is how it went. If you were a Sonny Michel owner, Brandon Bolden first, kind of like running inside the red zone, running play. You see Brandon Bolden. You see golden dreadlocks lined up.
He went Super Saiyan
Behind center.
Golden dreadlocks.
Yeah. It's a little frustrating to see that. I'm like, who the fuck is that?
All I could tell you is I was trying to take a nap, and I kept waking up because I was hearing Mike screaming at the TV, like, give Sonny Michel the ball. Where the fuck is Sonny Michel?
It was more like, I sound like Don. I feel like sometimes when I watch football, I sound like Don Vito from Viva La Bam. You remember Don Vito? The uncle?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like sometimes when you know what I mean?
Something like that, yeah.
I don't know. But
Yeah, I know what you mean.
it was pretty frustrating if you're a Sonny Michel owner. You had Brandon Bolden fucking snake you in the beginning. He's a little snake. He got the touchdown in the beginning. Then James White rushed in a touchdown, which is frustrating. Then they called it back. They put Sonny Michel back there. You were thinking, oh, sick, Sonny Michel. Nope, Tom Brady rushes in for a touchdown. Sick. They got the 60-year-old fucking quarterback rushing in for a touchdown. Oh, what happens next? They're fucking first and goal, 3 yards out. They got Sonny Michel back there, what happens? Oh, Tom Brady rushes again.
That was crazy. QB sneak from the 3-yard line.
First of all,
he didn't
why?
get it. He didn't get it right, and then he did.
First of
another
all,
one.
that makes sense
I'm
if you
doing it
have.
again.
That makes sense if you have a big ass guy like Cam Newton or like.
The Tom,
You know-
Brady, Tom Brady sneak is pretty unstoppable. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've ever seen
Because
it fail,
nobody
like,
expects you
once.
to rush the fucking 60-year-old
They
guy.
do it all the time. They do it like once a week.
But my thing is
It'll
that
be like 4th and 1. Brady's like,
they're-
fuck this.
they think there's no way that they're gonna. Oh, anyways, but you said that Tom Brady was the guy who called that.
No, I was just watching I was at the gym, working on my fitness consigliere, and I looked up on the TV, and it was just like they were talking about how Tom Brady got the touchdowns, and Edelman was just like, he's like, we get in the huddle, we get the play. Tom Brady's like, no, I'm running this in, and we're just like, okay.
He's hanging out
They
with
just
Josh
listen to
Gordon.
him.
Josh Gordon's just like,
Josh Gordon was like, okay.
Josh Gordon's. Yeah, you never really see. I don't mean, correct me if I'm
I mean,
wrong.
you're really gonna argue with Tom Brady if he's like, no, we're doing the quarterback sneak. You're gonna be like, all right, Tom.
Yeah, he's
for
like,
sure, yeah.
yeah. I mean, like if you're in the huddle, do you look at him and be like, no, I think we should do this? I mean, the guy has 6 fucking rings.
You just see him call a timeout, and Sonny Michel's like, no, I want the ball. He's like, timeout. Get the fuck out of my head.
Hey, we got a commercial. Just fucking hit some.
Enter Brandon Bolden.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's very frustrating, Sonny Michel owner. That being said, what do you do? I feel like that's besides Josh Gordon not getting much going
Yeah,
on.
he was-
Besides that, I feel like that Sonny Michel thing is probably the biggest thing going out of that game to come out of.
Yeah, I mean, on the Patriots side of the ball, Tom Brady saved his day with those 2 rushing touchdowns. He didn't throw a touchdown. He had 3 sacks, 1 interception, almost had 2. He didn't play too well today. I don't know if it had to do with like the wind, just the Giants being the Giants, how they are against the Patriots. But those 2 rushing touchdowns saved his day. If he didn't get those 2, he would have had, I think, under 10 fantasy points. So
Maybe Tom Brady owns himself in fantasy.
maybe he's playing Sonny Michel this week, and he's like, you know what, fuck that. I'm playing you, bitch.
Yeah, maybe that's
I'm
it.
gonna
Maybe he's
run-
in like
I'm
a
gonna run the-
$10,000 league or something.
I'm gonna run these in. But yeah, it was frustrating because I was playing Tom Brady in one league too, and I had James White in another. So to get that taken back by James White, I was like, son of a bitch. But yeah, average day for Tom Brady. He saved his day. Sonny Michel, he did get snaked from the touchdowns, but still 22 rushes for 86 yards, 2 catches again for 27 yards. So in a PPR, still got you 13.3, in a standard a little over 10. Not the worst game, but could have been a lot better game. Like you said, if you owned him, you're kind of frustrated, but he still didn't crap the bed for you in this matchup. James White, 9 for 46. So, he's that PPR guy. We always say in a PPR matchup, he has a safe floor. So, you're pointing at something. Oh, yeah, just kind of going over stats. I mean, Julian Edelman had a big game, 9 for 113. Was a couple inches away from Jenkins pulling away like a 27-yard touchdown. So he could have had a huge game, but
Yeah.
Solid from Edelman. Josh Gordon got hurt in the first quarter? Second quarter?
I think it was towards the end of the second quarter. He got hurt on the strip sack fumble. Like the defender was trying to score, and he was trying to make the tackle, and I think he got rolled up under, or he was trying to tackle the guy, and he his knee got tweaked some weird way. So it wasn't like he was running a route. He was trying to make a tackle and stop the defender from scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, I personally didn't really like Josh Gordon this game. I benched him, and once I found out there was going to be heavy wins, I benched him in 2 leagues that I have him. But the injury was unfortunate for him, so we
Yeah.
got to see what happens with that going forward. We'll see what an update status probably later in the week. I'll just kind of run through the numbers for Patriots.
No, I feel you.
Besides that, the Josh Gordon and Sonny Michel side of the ball, do you want to move over to the Giants side or?
I mean, one thing I just say before we jump to the side is that the whole Sonny Michel thing makes me nervous. It's one reason why I don't have him in many leagues. I feel like if he doesn't fall in the end zone, he's not going to have a good day for you. I know he had some pretty solid numbers from what you just read right there, but there was no Rex Burkhead, and I know the last 2 games he's been getting more incorporated in the passing game, and it could just be my own personal opinion, but I think that's just because Burkhead isn't there. I think once Burkhead comes back, he's going to take all those targets that Sonny Michel is getting,
Right.
and his value goes back down to 0. And it's just concerning to think I was watching the game, in and out of trying to take a nap, and they were inside the 5 so many times, and like you said, 2 QB sneaks. Tom Brady gets these short yards touchdowns. Brandon Bolden gets in, and
Even James
it's
White
just
got in.
crazy because I was looking at Sonny Michel is top 3 in terms of carries inside the 5, carries inside the 10. So I'm just curious why all of a sudden this game he wasn't being involved, especially with no Burkhead. So I'm just worried for when Burkhead comes back. Is it really going to affect Sony Michel's value going forward? I guess we'll just have to pay attention to it. But this is kind of one reason why I didn't want anything to do with this backfield.
And one thing that I'm going to try and do, I mean, I have him in a league where there's no trades, so that kind of sucks. But I'm trying to trade Sony Michel after this week because I do feel like because it's a Thursday night game, there's going to be all the games on Sunday and then the game on Monday. After this weekend, I feel like you're going to be able to move him. And people are not going to remember. They're just going to maybe look at the past 2 weeks, 19 or 20 and 13 points, PPR-wise. And I think that you can still maybe move him if you can at that point. But, like, I'm all out of Patriots backfield. I'm upset that I'm any type of involved in the Patriots side.
I feel
the backside.
For sure.
Yeah, I think if you can move him, move him. I mean, he is what he's an RB2-3. I personally had him right around my 14, 15, like 16 cusp with my rankings. And the workload is there for that to be there. He just seems like he's lost a little bit. I don't know if it's the knee scope or what's going on, but it seems like he's lost a little bit of a step from what he looked like in the previous year.
It's not going to get better. They've played all the best teams or the worst teams.
Well, they have a schedule of just as bad teams the second half of the year.
Well,
I mean they literally.
It's a little bit better.
They have one tough matchup, and that's the Eagles.
But I'm saying is that if you have the best team in the NFL playing the worst teams, the game script would tell you that the running back's going to get the ball a lot. But it's just not. You're not even getting those numbers that you want. Ideally you would want.
It's
in those
just
types of game
concerning
scripts
for sure.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's I'm on your. Like I said, I had him there. I move him down until like he's probably outside the top 20 overall the rest of the season, but he's still a usable piece. He's still, especially in standard formats, he's still a usable piece. Running back gets ugly after. Running back gets ugly after about the top 18. You start getting into the Carlos Hyde. You start getting into the. Really, realistically speaking, what's the difference between him and David Montgomery at this point?
Yeah.
It's like, you get into these guys, he's still, that's what I'm saying, is like, he's not like someone you're just like, oh, I can't use him. He's still a usable piece.
Sure.
And the schedule is just, it's trash for the Patriots. Literally, I was just looking at it. It's like Bengals, Dolphins, Jets. The only decent run defense they play is Philly in 2 weeks. Outside of that, it is literally no one.
Yeah.
And the Patriots are that team that when it gets to cold weather games, it will be a run-heavy script. They're that team in the winter when they're in Foxborough. He's going to see, weeks 13, 14, 15, 16. He's going to have those game scripts there. So it's not like he's unusable. But what you said, I said if you can flip him, like I would try and flip him because it's probably a decent time to do it.
Yeah, I would agree. The other side of the ball, we got the Giants side. It seems like the only guy in this game, because Saquon was out, Wayne Gallman was out, Sterling Shepard was out, Evan Ingram was out. Golden Tate looked fucking legit. I think he was the highest scoring guy beside maybe, I don't know how Daniel Jones did, but
not good.
Yeah, not good, I don't think, because he threw an interception or two. Three interceptions.
Or three.
With Golden Tate, do you keep him? What do you do?
Golden Tate, you're definitely starting. He probably got it because of the volume, and they were behind most of the game. So he probably would have been the only player I would felt comfortable playing on the Giants side of the ball. Just keep it short, sweet, and simple. He's like a PPR guy going forward. He's like maybe a wide receiver 3 flex guy. You could probably play every single week. But, yeah, that's about it with that for me.
Golden Tate?
Yeah.
I would try and flip him if I could, too. He's another guy I would try and flip.
Trade.
I think his value is probably pretty high right now. People watch Thursday night games. They see that, Golden Tate, 5 for 105 and a touchdown. They're probably
I would try and trade him now. This is going to release tomorrow morning.
If you could package him and Sony for someone,
if you're listening to this,
send it. No
as
clubs.
soon as this comes out, I would try and send it. Send it before week 6 is over, I think.
Yeah. You guys got anything else in the game? Patriots defense, if you have them, if you want already.
I think you should. I think that's another thing. You should trade Patriots defense. I don't think
don't. I just said how easy their schedule is. Why would you trade them?
Yeah.
I think
you just got to ride the wave.
You want to run through their schedule to make
you just got to ride the wave with it.
If you can get a wide receiver or a running back for Patriots defense, you wouldn't do it.
No, I think not when they're scoring 15 to 25 points a game. And what's someone realistically going to give it for a defense? If you can get a top 12,
I'm saying is that I've never seen a defense worth more than right now.
I mean, the Bears defense last year.
They've
was
also
winning
played
people's championships.
arguably like 5 of the worst,
That's what I'm saying.
like
Is that-
bottom 8, I guess you would say, teams in the NFL.
My point is that the Patriot. I don't think a
I guess
defense in the fantasy like the past like fucking 4 or 5 years that I played fantasy.
Headphones fell off.
That I haven't seen a Patriots defense, or I mean, I haven't seen a defense be worth this much. I'm just thinking of like fantasy relevant. Like,
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Yeah.
you get what I'm trying to say?
No, I
get what you're
it's
saying.
more of a different schedule for. I'm looking at it now. It's more of a different for like.
They're
rushing
obviously
schedule.
they're like they could be the difference week in and week out of why you actually win a
Yeah.
game. You know, they put up 20 and the other defense puts up like 5, even 10. You know, it's
I mean, they have the Jets next week, stellar matchup. Cleveland next week, stellar matchup. They go to Baltimore, it's okay matchup. You know, they go to Philly, Dallas, Houston, KC, so it does get a little different there. Those are a little bit more point scoring games. But they got Cincinnati and Buffalo too in the playoff, like kind of finals. So Cincinnati and Buffalo in those finals could be, you know, the difference between you winning your league and not.
Yeah, Buffalo's defense is pretty good though. Anyways, all right.
did you go over the giveaway?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I talked
for
about
sure.
Yeah. Just kind of quick news we'll touch on real quick is, you know, if you're a Todd Gurley owner or David Johnson owner, if Malcolm Brown is still there or if Chase Edmonds is still there, go out and grab them ASAP. If you're not the owner of David Johnson or you're not the owner of Todd Gurley, go ahead and grab them ASAP because what you do is even if you don't start these guys, you block someone else from starting them.
For sure.
I know you're playing someone who has David Johnson and I have Chase Edmonds, so if you win,
Yeah.
I got you.
Like I have Malcolm Brown on a couple teams. I know he hasn't been doing anything outside of that 2-touchdown week 1 performance, but he's kind of just like a lottery ticket. Like, I mean, if Gurley was to go down, his value would shoot up in a high-powered offense. So I'm just kind of holding on to him, and I always feel like every time I think about dropping him, I'm just like, this could be the week where something happens, and I don't
Yeah.
want to fucking kick myself, being like, damn, I should one more week, you know. So
Right.
I'll probably just ride it out until pretty much the end. But yeah,
I'm the same way. I have Malcolm Brown in a couple leagues, and I'm the same exact way. I'm holding on to him.
Yeah,
I think out of handcuffs, he's like the most valuable.
Yeah, I'd like to say there's probably about 5 to 6 like handcuffs that are for. I hate to say the word for sure because you never know. You could think it's a handcuff and then they go a different direction. Like everyone thought. I mean, I think 1 or 2 of us said that we thought it was Malcolm Brown off season, but everyone's like Darrell Henderson's the
Yeah.
handcuff, and we were like, I think it might have been me and you, maybe all 3 of us actually. We're like, no, I think it's gonna be Malcolm Brown. They see the preseason, they're not even playing him. So like sometimes the handcuff thing is tricky, but. You know, Chase Edmonds is like a clear handcuff to, David Johnson.
Yeah.
Alexander Madison is a clear handcuff to Dalvin Cook. Malcolm Brown. There's probably maybe
But
one or
out
two.
of those guys, Todd Gurley,
Yeah,
has had issues for the past year.
Yeah.
And then also David Johnson's, he's had different injuries, but right now, like a back injury that's a little bit
Spinal.
different. That's
Ask Mike
that's
Tyson.
spinal.
Ask Mike Tyson. You don't want that. But yeah, what I'm saying is that these are guys who are handcuffs that we kind of know almost certainty, and they're in high-powered offenses. Like Kenyon Drake. If Kenyon Drake gets hurt, like Kalen Ballage is like, man.
Who?
Like,
Drake.
Kenyon Drake from the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, okay.
Drake.
You missed it. It's okay.
I
Go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm saying these are high-end handcuffs that you can play week to week. If Drake gets hurt, you're not starting Ballage. If like Josh Jacobs goes down, you're not starting like a Jalen Richard. Well, maybe in PPR, but I'm saying these are high-profile handcuffs.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
feel
agree.
it.
All right, let's jump into these matchups.
Yep.
Okay, let's do it. All right, first matchup. It's going to be in London. I think this game's going to be at
London?
like 6:30 in the morning if you're at Western, because we're from Vegas, so it's like Western time. 9:30 if you're on the East Coast.
Is it
But
Pacific time?
just make sure that you set your lineup in advance because it is
Saturday
in
night.
a London game, and it is really early in the morning, especially for the West Coast people, like I said. But you got the Panthers are -2 in London against the Bucks, a 48 over under. Starting the Panther side of the ball here. I mean, you're not starting Kyle Allen. I don't think so.
I think you're starting Kyle Allen.
Think so?
God damn it, Mike.
He's just not ready.
I told him 20 minutes for the guy did.
Like you get.
That's going to be
That
the
Kyle?
Buccaneers defense.
I mean, I was kind of just trying to set up Mike there, but I mean, he's a streaming option.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bucs defense has been after the first 2 weeks, it was like it's hard to like kind of pick up the trends because we're only 5 weeks in, but the first 2 weeks the Bucs defense was good. they're down to like 31st or 32nd. In the first 2 weeks, they were almost a shutout defense.
Yeah.
So they've been absolutely terrible since the first 2 weeks.
Terrible.
I mean, I don't think Christian McCaffrey's going to score 5 touchdowns every week.
Bet. Say he
But
won't.
he's a fucking monster, so it wouldn't surprise me if he does. He has weapons. He's been playing well. Like I said, the Bucs secondary is not good. I don't hate him as a streaming option this week if you're kind of,
in a pinch.
Yeah, I guess we'll save his name and we'll go over some quarterbacks as we go through the episode, and we'll kind of bring him up as we go. But I mean, I don't hate him as a streaming option this week.
For sure, I'm not mad at it. Actually, looking at some of the notes here, like you said, you're starting McCaffrey, but the Bucs allow the most yards to wide receivers and the second most receptions to receivers. So PPR-wise, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, looks like this is a good matchup on paper for them if you have them, at least flex guys. But one thing I can also say too is I've noticed people are starting to drop Cam Newton in leagues. I mean, I've already swooped him up in 2 leagues. I already have like Wentz, I think in both of those leagues actually. So he's my backup quarterback, but. I mean, I think when he comes back, I know I've said it a couple times, but I think he's going to come back with a vengeance, And the schedule was really nice going forward. I think they have like all green rated matchups, meaning like they don't play any tough matchups down the stretch. But going down the stretch, weeks 11 through 16, they face all bottom defenses. And there's a stretch where they play Atlanta, New Orleans, Washington, Atlanta, and those are all top 5 easiest matchups down the stretch. So he could be a sneaky guy you pick up, especially if you're struggling at quarterback. I mean, I'd pick him up and just stash him.
All right, so over under Tampa Bay in the last 3 games, yards given up through the air, 350.
Over.
Wait, what?
Over under how many yards has Tampa Bay given up in the last 3 games? 350.
Well, Goff had like 600 one game, so I'm going to take the average of over.
Yeah, over.
Yeah, 382 in their last 3 games. So they're giving up over 323 on the season for 2019, 382 in their last 3 games. So
That's
kind
hot.
of just touching on what Tyler said about Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore. Nice upside plays with both of them. And then Kyle Allen. Like I said, I don't hate it as a streaming option. It's in London, though. It's weird. The toilets spin backwards, I think. Or is that China?
No, it's whether no. That's
Or is it the different hemisphere?
that's for
Southern
northern
hemisphere.
or southern
So
hemisphere.
it's Brazil.
Australia, Brazil,
Yeah, Brazil. Greg Olsen in this game, and I feel like tight end landscape gets pretty yucky pretty quick. And we just said that this is. I know he hasn't the best 2 games, the last 2 games, but this is a good matchup for him.
Yeah, the Bucs. I remember seeing a stat saying the Bucs against like slot receivers, kind of, or I guess tight ends, you could say, because he does kind of line up in the slot a lot. Greg Olsen. But just think about who was it? Like Cooper Kupp a couple games ago against the Bucs, just like eating all of them. Who did the Bucs play last week? Do you remember off the top of your head?
They played the.
But it was another stat where like the slot receivers against the Bucs have just been eating like in each week. So I think Greg Olsen top 10 play for sure, especially at the tight end position with how thin that is once you get past those like 5 or 6 guys. So I like Olsen this week.
Panthers defense.
I'm not mad at it. They've low key been. I think they're top 5 defense, right? Like number wise.
I think they lead the league in sacks, or they did it until the Steelers had 14 sacks last week.
Yeah, that rookie. I mean, we touch on all the time. Like sometimes you don't realize, but just grabbing a couple players, like they went out and signed Gerald McCoy actually from the Buccaneers, and then drafting. I think his name's Brian Burns from Florida State in the first round of this draft. Just kind of really solidified that defensive line. I mean, you also have Kuechly back there, who's an All-Pro linebacker. Bradbury's a pretty good corner. So yeah, I'm not mad at this defense.
Yeah, I like it too. London correspondent, you got anything?
All right, here's the thing. I like Panthers defense, but here's the thing: is Jameis Winston. He likes to throw interceptions or like to throw touchdowns. So what's it going to be this week? Touchdowns? You're going to get fucking interceptions. Panthers defense, it's all right, but it could be 50-50. Panthers could give up some touchdowns to Jameis Winston, or they could fucking get interceptions. Flip a coin, fucking throw them in. Let's see it. Send it. No flub.
I like it.
Send it.
Sweet and to the point.
Oh yeah.
We can move over to the Bucs side. On the Bucs side, Jameis Winston. I mean, I guess you never know what you're gonna get.
I mean, he's
been
posted
playing
2 or 3 games in a row where it's been pretty solid, right? And
Yeah,
I think at this point
he
you
saved
kinda-
his day a little bit with some garbage time touchdown. But this defense is bad. And I know that we said the Panthers defense has been good, but they were exploited a little bit last week by the jockstrap. So we did see this guardian miss you, if anyone's wondering. I just nicknamed him the jockstrap.
I think he prefers cockstrap.
Oh, the cockstrap?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he was kind of like I think the cockstrap threw for over 300 yards.
If you had to guess a player was gay in the NFL, I feel like it would be Gardner, right?
Why?
Because he's flexing in the fucking locker room.
That sounds like something you would do. That's something you've sent us in DMs. And then I'm not gonna say the rest.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay,
If you had to guess someone on this podcast was gay, it'd be
Tyler, dude.
But anyways, back to the Bucs side. Yeah, I mean like you said, he's posted pretty good numbers the last 3 weeks. It's in London. He's got weapons. I think he's still a top 15 player this week. Even though the Panthers have played well for the most part, they did kind of limit him last time in Carolina, but that was at home. So this is kind of like a neutral site. So it's kind of not necessarily a home game, but it's not a home game.
Yeah.
So I like Jameis Winston this week. He has Godwin, Evans. There's no tight end there. Ronald Jones. But I guess we can move on to the receivers here. I mean, Chris Godwin, you're starting him. He's the number one receiver overall right now.
Yeah.
And then with Bradbury facing off against Evans, I think he even has, he might have another 100-yard game.
For sure, yeah.
Mike Evans, I feel like he's someone you can't not start. But he's posted good numbers, but he's had two games where it's just like disappointing.
Yeah.
But I think you can't not start him just because he is talented, the upside, and I mean, who are you going to bench Mike Evans for, like, on your team where it's like you have to have, like...
Maybe Golden Tate.
Now that you can see the future. But it's like, I mean, like, what two wide receivers are you probably benching Mike Evans for? You might have... Maybe you drafted Godwin's and Evans. It's like, I have a hard time seeing a situation where you're really benching Evans.
Yeah. I mean, I think with Mike Evans, it kind of just, like, looking a little bit more in depth of it. But it's like he started the season out with, like, a stomach virus. So, obviously, he's not feeling too well. Then he has the 2 boom games, and then he has a bad game where he puts up the goose egg. But going against Lattimore, and actually Lattimore has been known to kind of like limit him and shut him down. But one thing about him is he's leading the NFL in air yards, meaning that he's getting the targets, and they're deep targets. So the potential's there. It's not like he's just not being used, kind of like O.J. Howard.
Yeah.
Like O.J. Howard's just not being used at all. So with that being said, the targets are there, the air yards are there. Like you said, you got to throw him in there each and every week because he offers that boom upside.
Yeah, like we touched on, like, speaking of air yards, if you're listening and maybe you're new to the podcast, we touched on air yards last week with Will Fuller. We were like, he has tons of air yards, this, and that, and he had the best game in 15 years. So, air yards is a sign that they're throwing the ball deep, big plays, potential. I know it's been kind of a little disappointment, but you don't really bench Mike Evans. But who you can bench is O.J. Howard. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I got to see it with O.J. Howard. This is kind of disappointing because I felt like, the potential was there, the upside's there. And I actually read something saying that I think it was, I want to say Byron Leftwich, but I could be wrong, or someone.
Yeah,
He's a coordinator.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So Byron Leftwich was saying that, just be patient because, like, the O.J. Howard's about to break out and the targets are coming. But we've also heard this before, so I got to see it first.
Let's talk about
I got to see it first.
Can we talk about last year a little bit? Because I feel like last year, this was kind of a similar thing with O.J. Howard. There was a lot going on with the Ryan Fitzpatrick being there. There's a lot going on with Jameis Winston. The touchdowns were going to Cameron Brate. And then I remember middle of the year, some people in some leagues were dropping O.J. Howard. I picked him up in like week 7 or 8, and he ended up putting up some points for me.
Yeah, before he got hurt, right? 'Cause he got hurt towards the end.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like a top 8-6 tight end, and I felt like just someone who was big on O.J. Howard. I think we all kind of liked O.J. Howard, but it was just like I felt like worst case scenario, he was like going to be pretty close to what last year was. You figure Deshaun Jackson gone, Adam Humphries gone. You could still factor in a Chris Godwin breakout because they didn't replace those receivers with anyone else. You got to figure there'd be some kind of work with him. The floor, maybe he's getting 4 for 40 at least, but the usage has just been like kind of mind-boggling. I said systems. I touched on that last episode. I don't need to go deep into it again, but I don't drop him yet because
I see him keep getting dropped.
Yeah, I want to, but it's like, if they do, like Tyler said, just be patient and stuff does break out and he's a top 6 tight end, the second half of the way, he could be a huge difference maker. And there's not a lot of tight ends you can go and grab that can actually make a difference. Like, you're not going to go grab like a tight end like Noah Fant or one of these guys who can make a difference. At least O.J. Howard, if you hold him, he can make a difference in the second half. There's at least that potential for that.
For sure.
Definitely.
I agree. What about this defense here?
Nah.
No, I haven't in one league. I'm kind of nervous. The run defense has been good, but like I said, the pass defense has been kind of bad.
Yeah. The pass defense has been bad, and then the running back they play he's not human.
Yeah, he's a cyborg. He's a savage.
Christian Cyborg McCaffrey.
For sure. I like that.
That's his nickname.
All right, next matchup, we got the Bengals traveling to Baltimore. Ravens are -11, 48 over under. I mean, Bengals side of the ball, I'm not starting Dalton, even though they are throwing the ball a ton. I mean, I'm nervous for the Bengals here. I know the Ravens defense isn't the same. We've kind of learned that, but I still think, just my own personal opinion, I still think going into Baltimore and playing, especially a division game, it's pretty tough for the Bengals here. I mean, I think you're out of necessity. You probably have to start Mixon and Tyler Boyd, but for me, it'd probably be those two guys, and then that's it.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the numbers, they're 333 yards at home. They're giving up 244 on the road. They're actually playing better on the road, but I do agree Baltimore, it's a tough place to play. I think Andy Dalton, he's more of you got to be in a little bit of a desperate mode to play him.
Yeah.
I think you would have to be looking at like the bottom half of the, number 2019 quarterback ranking where it's like, okay, at least Baltimore should be able to score a lot against this defense because this is bad defense. So they're going to have to play catch up. And kind of like what he had last week, they were playing catch up. He got you like 23 points, 22 points. I think that's kind of what you're hoping for if you start Andy Dalton as like your, low end kind of quarterback option. But like you said, it's pretty much Mixon. It's pretty much Tyler Boyd. And I mean, I guess in a desperate 3 wide receiver league, you can consider Auden Tate.
Yeah.
Just given that they should be trailing by a lot, 11-point spread, and have to throw the ball a lot. So,
yeah. Well, what news with that? AJ Green returned to practice. It's the first time he's practiced since the injury, so that's a good sign. I mean, I guess one thing with Dalton is, once they get AJ Green back, once you get John Ross back, you have Tyler Boyd, you do have Mixon, you still have Eifert, who could still actually, I would like to think at least catch the football or not. But there is some offensive weapons there with an offensive-minded coach, so. Later in the year, Andy Dalton could be a serviceable quarterback for you guys.
Yeah. He's someone, too, that second half, if I know people are streaming or picking up guys, I might just grab with AJ Green, everyone back, just to not have to face him.
Yeah.
Because they do have some good matchups down the stretch.
Yeah. All right, so Ravens side of the ball. I mean, Lamar Jackson kind of had a stinker, 3 picks. I think he still finished with like 11 points. But, I
think that's more of a testament to the Steelers' defense than...
Oh, my God.
Lamar Jackson.
For sure. Anyways, Lamar Jackson.
For real, though.
You're still dialing up Lamar Jackson. Prior to last week, he still was like a top 3 quarterback. Top 3 quarterback. Mark Ingram should have a monster game. Mark Andrews, tight end. Just keep an eye on it. He's been on the injury report. But if he's playing, you got to play him. He has the upside of having a 100-yard game any day. What about like Marquise Hollywood Brown? I know he got banged up, left the game last week with the ankle. Me throwing him in here. He's among, I think he was top 10 in terms of like wide receivers for their like team total target share. He was like he might have been top 5 actually. So he's the most targeted player on the team. I think in a matchup like this, if he's on the field with the home run ability that he has, it is boom or bust. But I'll take the boom with the target share every single game.
I feel like he's... Sorry, there was a flashbang. Someone just got raided. He kind of is like... He's kind of, to me, he's like Tyreek Hill light, but with the worst quarterback.
Yeah.
That's good, if that makes any kind of sense. It's like he's that boomer bust play, but he's not tied to someone who's going to throw...
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson's not Pat Mahomes.
He's basically... He's a Tyreek Hill attached to a running quarterback.
Yeah.
Instead of a crazy passing quarterback.
I mean, I got a question for you guys, too. I think if Lamar Jackson goes out and balls out this week against a not that good Cincinnati team, I mean, do you consider trying to trade him after this week? Because I feel like he's like, I still don't think he's a good passer. I've watched the last couple of games with him. He's inaccurate.
He's not that accurate.
He's not. I don't think he's a good throwing quarterback. He has a high floor, so week to week, you're never really going to get a bust game from him. But he still has that name, and he's still in the top 5, and he could go out and throw for 3-4 touchdowns. And if you have a serviceable quarterback, like maybe you have Matt Ryan and Lamar Jackson, maybe you have like Carson Wentz and Lamar Jackson, those are possible situations.
I've actually thought about this, and I'm kind of in a perfect situation right now for this. I have Lamar Jackson, and then I have Josh Allen, who's kind of similar, not that well proven of a quarterback, but he's got the rushing upside.
Yeah,
he's rushed for touchdowns on like plays.
Not as high of a ceiling, but similar floor.
Yeah, similar floor. I don't mind going. Josh Allen's on a bye week. I don't mind going Josh Allen the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think if you can get a top 12 at a position.
Yeah, and
do it.
if I could trade Lamar Jackson for somebody like that, yeah, fuck yeah. I would
Yeah,
100%
I was trying to trade him
for
for Deshaun Watson in one of my leagues, but the guy wouldn't budge. But I mean, if I could rest of the season, if I could flip him, because I feel like they're almost in the same tier. They're both like, top 5 quarterbacks. I
But
think,
not
right
even
now.
flipping for a quarterback. I'm
Same for a position. Like if you get like a top 12 type of guy, top 15 for Lamar, that's where I'd probably try and get a.
Oh yeah, for
You
sure.
know, if you
Especially if
get,
you had a good backup.
Yeah, if someone's hurting at quarterback, and I know we talk differently about quarterbacks, but other people don't. They see like, oh, Lamar Jackson. Maybe they have a little bit of. They're pretty decent at receiver, and maybe you can get like a Mike Evans for Lamar Jackson or something. Like that.
Right.
I'm just throwing out like something like that. Might be able to pull something like that, especially coming off a 0-point game. So.
yeah.
And he has another tough matchup, and if he has like a 9-10 point game, he might be able to pull something off like that.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, next matchup: Seahawks -1.5 at Cleveland. Going to play the Browns. 47.5 point over under. This line is weird. Seahawks -1.5. That it makes me.
Sorry.
As stupid as this is going to sound, but it makes me like the Browns. Like, why is it only 1.5?
How'd that go week 1?
I'm just saying, but you would think that the line would be more. You think that the Seahawks would be favored by at least 3, right? At least a field goal.
I think that because it's Seahawks. I think Seahawks are like more of a point favorite when they're away, and I think that's what it is. Or I mean, when they're home. So I think when they're
no, it's not that.
I think that they're super point favorite when they're home, and when they're away, they just kind of like do the opposite. And I think that the Browns have so much hype behind them. It's probably people are betting on the Browns already.
Well, aren't Seahawks migrating north right now? And then if they're in Cleveland, that's not where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Just National Geographic. I'm just fucking throwing out science right here. I think that's what it has to do with.
I don't know. The line is just.
Leave it to me
the
for
line
Animal
looks
Planet references.
fishy. The line looks fishy for sure. But anyway, Seahawks out of
Does
the
it
ball.
look?
I think you're.
Sea hockey.
Russell Wilson, you're dialing him up. Chris Carson, dialing him up.
Tyler
Tyler
Lockett,
Lockett, dialing him up.
What was the trade we saw? Someone.
Okay, wait,
messaged
time
us.
out. Sorry, because I hear people like analysts who are like, trade Russell Wilson, and I'm like, dude, don't trade Russell Wilson. I've been saying this all offseason. He's like, honestly, I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Like,
You think so?
Yeah. Like I know
Playmaker?
Tom Brady's older and stuff like that now, but like hands down, like his accuracy, just his pocket awareness, everything. Like
His playmaking ability.
I think
he can turn anything into a play.
I mean, if you had him in Andy Reid's system, I mean, it'd be hard to say he's better than Mahomes, but I think there's definitely a shot that he's, potential's there for sure.
I think I agree. That's a bold take, hot take.
I mean, he's at least in the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I mean,
sure.
he's playing
for sure.
His
Yeah.
efficiency, his touchdown rate, the
And,
defense isn't what it was last year.
I think a lot of times, a lot of years, which is what we've noticed, is that Russell Wilson usually starts off kind of shitty.
Yeah.
This year he's doing pretty well, and I think that he usually the end of the season he finishes pretty well. So I would stick with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, like I said, I've just heard I heard a couple people or experts say trade Russell Wilson. He can't keep this up, and it's like the same shit they were saying in the offseason about his touchdown rate and this and that. And I pointed out to the way the offense is going to score. I'm like, if he's not going to throw for X amount of touchdowns, draft Chris Carson as the number 1 running back because he's going to score 25 touchdowns. And they're kind of still on the same shit with that. So it's like, don't trade away Russell Wilson. He's, the defense isn't as good as it was last year. He's playing well. This is a good offense, and don't trade away Russell Wilson. Sorry, I've just heard analysts say that, so I'm just like,
No, I wouldn't be trading Russell Wilson.
But you'd
Like,
for sure start Russell Wilson in this one. I would like it.
yeah.
Even against Myles Garrett, I like it.
Will Dissly, just some numbers on him: 5+ receptions, 5+ receptions and 50 or more receiving yards in his last 4 games. He has a 29% target share, which is the 5th highest among tight ends. I think he's ranked in the top 5 tight ends right now. I think he's, I have him one league. I was thinking about trying to trade him, but just kind of looking at the numbers, looking at the schedule, like you just said, Russell Wilson's playing at a super efficient level. He's kind of like the red zone threat there. I mean, Tyler Lockett's not really a red zone guy. Metcalf is more like the vertical guy. I mean, they run it with Chris Carson when they get close, but it seems like Dissly is like the red zone threat when they get close. Touchdown upsides there. I mean, I love Dissly going forward for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think worst case scenario, you got to figure top 8 to 10 tight end the rest of the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Seahawks defense, or I guess we can talk about someone a flex play. You considering Metcalf as a flex play?
I mean, one thing I saw is like all of his routes are pretty much go routes.
That's kind of what we figured coming this year.
So it's either you're banking on the home run or not. So you want to gamble for the home run?
Are you feeling lucky?
Yeah. Do you think Kershaw's going to be pitching and you can just?
Yeah,
you think Kershaw's just going to give it up? Then yeah, start Metcalf.
Yeah, he's a home runner bust. Maybe 3 wide receiver league. If you need a home run play, that's throw him out there
for sure.
Seahawks defense.
I mean, I'm not mad at it after watching the Browns' offensive line just looking terrible. I mean, you got Clowney, you got Ziggy Ansah, Bobby Wagner's probably like a top 3 middle linebacker. I mean, their corners and safeties aren't the greatest, but the front 7-wise, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, the front brings pressure. Like I said, it's not the best defense this year. Like they took a step back, but the front brings pressure. And like you said, Baker Mayfield's just. It's funny. I saw this thing on Barstool Sports where it was like this girl, like she was trying to cross the finish line. She was like 15 feet away, and she like couldn't stand up and kept falling over. I was like, "Is that Baker Mayfield out there?" He's just like, it's just not looking good over there. We can start moving on that side. I'm not starting Baker till I see.
Yeah, he's been getting dropped in a lot of leagues and
keep him there.
I feel like he's a landmine player. Like he's one of those players where like let someone pick him up and throw him in the lineup because it's like he's like one of those players where you see the name, you say, "Oh, Baker Mayfield," and like they throw him in the lineup and it's just like, bam, landmine.
I saw that guy in that Hulu commercial.
He's too busy making Progressive and Hulu commercials.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still starting Chubb.
Yeah.
Just throw up.
No, I just had a claw burp.
Okay.
A Clerpy.
A Clerpy, huh? I heard those are running rampant.
What the fuck?
Anyways, Brown side of the ball, Chubb, you're dialing him up. I know Odell hasn't been playing as you want Odell to be the last 2 weeks, but first 3 weeks weren't too bad. I think it was like 10 or 12 more PPR points in those first 3 weeks, and he's getting the targets at least. Like I said, it'd be concerning if he wasn't being involved, but he is. And they're finding ways to get him involved. He's throwing the ball a couple times, running the ball a couple times, so
fumbling the ball a couple times.
Still starting him. Landry. I mean, how do you feel about Landry? I'm biased because I'm a Dolphin fan. I love Landry.
Like the player.
He's been getting more involved. He's actually outscored
he's looked decent.
Odell in the last 2 weeks.
I mean, he had 100 something plus the week before, right? He
had like 160 something. And
yeah.
This last week, a solid PPR game again.
Yeah. I think they're figuring out how to use him in this offensive system. So I think he's a PPR floor type of guy.
He's like a flex wide receiver.
Yeah, in a PPR format.
Yeah.
But I feel like Odell's the squeak. I feel like not the squeaky wheel, but I feel like it's been 2 weeks. They're gonna figure out something to get him involved, whether it's short intermediate route screens, like you said. I think it's, you don't really bench him.
Yeah, I think at home, I think Odell has an Odell game.
Question with Odell though? If he explodes and has a 150 and 2 Odell game because he's capable of being the number 1 receiver in a week. If he has that, do you move him or do you think that it's a sign of things to come with that, or do you hold and wait and see?
One thing with Odell is I'm not selling low on him because I still think he offers that upside. So like I have him in a couple leagues. I actually traded for him in one league, and then now it's just been terrible. I've been trying to move him, but nobody wants him. But
I know the schedule opens up too in the second half for them.
Yeah, I mean, if I have him, I just don't want to trade him for less than what his value is. I'm not selling less than $1, in a sense. I want to get my dollar in return, or at least something where I feel like I'm not just giving him away for Stephon Diggs almost, just off the top of my head.
Would you move him for off-head Odell for Kerryon Johnson if someone's hurting at receiver and you want a running back?
Yes.
I don't mind that.
That's the name where I'm thinking like you'd think you might be able to pull that off based off a name. And Kerryon coming off a bye, his rankings a little bit lower on the points per game or whatever status.
No, yeah, I would do that because I feel like me, I'm always thinking trades. It's like okay, I traded for Kerryon, and now I can always flip Kerryon for another player.
We need to get you you guys have like a trade briefcase. And whenever he's talking about trades, we just pulls out his briefcase, a little stock market guy.
Would you trade Odell for Lamar Jackson?
Like to get Lamar Jackson?
No, the other way.
Lamar Jackson to get Odell?
Yeah.
Well, probably not.
If I have a good second quarterback.
Yeah, I guess who's my other quarterback,
Right.
Yeah, if Lamar Jackson's my only quarterback, then no. But if I have like
a backup.
If I have, like I said earlier, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, Kyler Murray, he's actually someone I would buy low on right now. I guess we can talk about that when we get to them. But
I think Kyler Murray, yeah.
Top 12 quarterback. He hasn't thrown a touchdown in 2 games. The red zone attempts, like I feel like they start clicking in the red zone a little bit. He's going to be a top 7 quarterback.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I was just throwing some questions out there with that.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, you start Chubb. We got on that. No tight ends really there. The Seals.
Yeah. Next matchup, the Saints at Jacksonville playing the Jaguars.
Oh, damn it.
I was waiting for you to do the
I know.
Jaguar job.
I was like, fuck. I fucked up.
Jags are -1, 44.5 point over under.
At least I knew right away. I was like, I just didn't have it ready.
Yeah.
Michael was big. Oh.
All right, so Saints side of the ball. I know Teddy Bridgewater came out and had a 4 touchdown game against the Bucks.
I don't think Bridgewater's that bad.
I think he's okay. You want to
You
hear
say
something
that
crazy?
every time we bring up Bridgewater.
Because look at his record.
Do you want to hear something
Look
crazy?
at his starting record.
You ready for this?
All right, go ahead.
I think he's better for Michael Thomas than Drew Brees is.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah, explain.
Elaborate.
The target volume is relatively the same, but he actually throws deeper to Michael Thomas than Drew Brees does. Drew Brees at this point in his career isn't like he's more of like a Tom Brady. He's like a fucking Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But like he's basically zoning in on Michael Thomas just as much. The catch percentage is roughly the same, but he's actually throwing the ball deeper. I'd like to look up the depth of target, but just from watching the games, he's throwing deeper to Michael Thomas than Drew Brees was. And I just think
Teddy Bridgewater.
I don't think there's a drop off, but I'm saying I think he's throwing a lot. What I'm saying is basically he's throwing deeper to Michael Thomas than Drew Brees was to Michael Thomas.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I would agree.
I'll
like
look
Teddy.
up the depth of target stats and stuff like that after this episode and like look it up. But I could like just watching like I know Michael Thomas like a 30 or 35 yard bomb from or maybe 40 from Teddy Bridgewater. You haven't really seen that with him and Drew Brees.
Yeah, it's been like short intermediate routes.
Yeah, it's like 10 catches for 90-something yards. But with Bridgewater, it's just looking different.
Yeah. So Kamara, Donima, Michael Thomas. What about Jared Cook here?
No.
I think he's still a top to like that 10 or like at least like anywhere from like 8 to 12 type tight end. It's like, who are you really going to play over him? I mean, when you start getting these names like Ebron, Jason Witten, I mean, Delaney Walker, like those kind of guys, I feel like he's in that 8 to 12 type range. Where
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can. Let me see how the Jags are against tight ends. Let me pull that up real quick. Let's see. They're giving up 6.1 points per game to the tight end. That's not very good.
That's not good.
That's not good. I mean, to your point, I guess if you have no one else, he breathes. He sees targets. He's had 6 targets back-to-back games. So if you're desperate, at least you know you're going to get something. I maybe start him over O.J. Howard.
He's a low-end tight end one for me.
Yeah.
Saints defense, I'm not starting anyone against the Minshew Mania.
Yeah, he's not really turning the ball over. He's playing kind of efficient kind of football. Minshew Mania, you start him in this? Just go straight to him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at it. The Saints allow the 3rd most points to the quarterback position. He's at home, and it's fucking Minshew Mania, dude. This guy's, I think we touched on it last week. I think he had 16 or more points in every single game. So you know what you're getting. You know it's a safe floor. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, what do we say? He's leading the league in points per jockstrap.
Points per
He's the number one or
He's the
cockstrap.
number 1 points per jockstrap.
Points per cockstrap. Leonard Fournette, just a volume monster. They just feed him the rock. Rest of the season. Here's an interesting question, which people might like.
Interesting question, huh?
Interesting
It's
question.
Usually interesting stats.
Le'Veon Bell or Leonard Fournette?
That was tough.
I'm gonna say Fournette.
I do like Le'Veon going forward, and I think he's a person you buy low on right now. But
I agree with that,
but I think I'd probably stick Fournette still.
I
I
just
like what I
trust-
see. I like the usage.
I
you know?
trust Jaguars' offense right now more than I trust the Jets' offense.
Yeah. I just like what you're seeing. Like you touch on it a lot. Like we get these coordinators come in. I think it's DeFilippo, right?
Yeah, DeFilippo.
And you kind of see how he really wants to incorporate him. And one thing too with Fournette, I've noticed it or I've seen is he's getting the targets. And you like seeing that. So he's not too far behind in a target standpoint from where Le'Veon Bell is in terms of running back targets received.
Yeah, I mean, 30 targets through 5 games. I mean, he's basically on a pace for 90-something targets throughout the season. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be top 5 as far as targets go in running back position. So, and I feel like he's due for some touchdown regression. I know he scored last week finally, but he's had I mean, I think he's third in the league in rushing, and he's had 1 touchdown on the ground.
Yeah.
And with those targets too, he's had no passing touchdowns. So I feel like he's due for a couple big games here. This could be it. I don't know.
That's hot.
DJ Chark.
Yeah, light him up.
I feel like you can't not sit him, even against Lattimore at this point. I know he had a tough matchup last week. We touched on that, but
He had a tough matchup last week. Lit it up.
the week before he had an
tired
okay
of-
game, but he just he had a touchdown, but it called back. You have to start him at this point.
Yeah, no, you just feel stupid with DJ Chark on your bench.
Yeah,
You
at
picked
this
him up.
point,
play him every week.
you have to set it because he's just getting this touch. He literally should have a touchdown every single game.
Yeah.
The one game he didn't, he got called back on a penalty. So at
Like,
this
that
point,
was his worst game, but he had one. Like that's what I just said. Yeah.
yeah, he's
Play it.
he's a set it and forget
Send
it for
it.
me. Yeah, send
No
it.
flub.
No flub. What about D.D. Westbrook here? So 10 or more PPR points in 4 of the 5 games, and our boy D.D. Westbrook gets to go against our boy P.J. Williams.
That's what I was gonna say. Is we're in a league together, and I was gonna say, what do you think about Westbrook this week? And
You know what I
you had
think?
him in there already, and I
You
was
know what I
like,
think?
Fuck it, send it in. Fuck it, send it in.
I do like D.D. Westbrook this week. I think I touched on it last time. Like the it's 10 to 15 points so far. You're not going to get a boom game from him, but you're probably not going to get a bust game from him either. So if you just need someone in there who you feel comfortable, like, hey, let me just get like this 10 to 15 type point range, I think D.D. Westbrook's a perfect guy. And actually, this could be the boom game
I was
because
gonna say, I was like, well, I don't know, you might get that boom game
Yeah.
because if Lattimore does limit Chark, which Lattimore is, I wouldn't say Chark is better than Mike Evans or some of these guys yet, or Julio Jones. Definitely not Julio Jones, but Lattimore has limited those guys.
Yeah.
So it's in the realm of possibility that he limits
still
DJ
one
Chark.
of, like the better corners in the league, that's for sure.
Yeah, if he limits DJ Chark, who's still a rookie in his own right, maybe the league's going to be turned on to him. They're going to be nice and hot. Maybe they, hey, we need to try and take this guy away. PJ Williams, I don't know how he still has a starting job in the NFL. I
yeah.
think we should all go try
He
and
must have some dirt on
Listen.
Sean Payton or something. He's just like,
PJ
yeah, try to cut me, coach. See what
Yeah.
happens.
PJ will. Yeah, he must be blackmailing him, huh? PJ
Dude, that's
Williams.
racist, dude.
Yeah.
He's been
What are you trying to
mailing
say?
him evidence of infidelity. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think this could actually be a blow game for D.D. Westbrook.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. We saw Chris Godwin. I know in the play draft league, I took him like every league, and he just murdered PJ. Everyone murders PJ Williams.
For sure, yeah.
So this could be he hasn't scored yet on 37 targets. D.D. Westbrook. I feel like this is a game where he's due.
He's
to get
got
an answer.
1 touchdown.
Oh, yeah, it was the first week.
Yeah. But like I said, he's tied with DJ Chark for the team lead in targets.
I feel like he's due for one.
yeah. And the coach,
if for D.D. Westbrook, Nick Foles might be coming back soon.
I think it's week 10, 11. So we still got a few
I don't
weeks.
know if he. I think he's lost his job.
Yeah,
I think
he
he's
might.
back to the bench.
Yeah.
God, that's so crazy.
I feel like that too, but there's people saying, "Oh, they paid him," and I'm like, "Yeah, but as a head coach, do you like?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think you go away from the cock strap.
But go ahead. Continue.
sure. There's no tight end here. Jags defense at home.
You don't
against
think
the
you'd pick
Saints.
up James O'Shaughnessy in a deep?
In a
Deep
1.5
bench?
league where you have no tight ends, maybe.
I'm in the
just-
pitch right now.
In a 5-point tight end PPR league, yeah.
Yeah, I'm picking him up because I have Delaney Walker, Jason Witten, and Jack Doyle. It's been rough. Okay, continue.
I mean, he's like that Jason. He is like Jason Witten, 3 for 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3 targets. So it's like he gets something at least.
Yeah.
What about the Jags defense? Jalen Ramsey's supposed to be back. I feel like
Actually,
their
I don't know if he's gonna come
defense has been
back.
kind of struggling.
Because he was saying something like, "Oh yeah, he was practicing, but he's like, it depends on how my back feels. I feel like he's just
He's back.
Yeah.
He just wants that. He wants to get traded. I
Against
bet
the
you if they
Saints
just gave him a
offense.
fat contract extension, he'd be like, "Oh, okay." I'll start."
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I'm not starting him. I don't know. The Saints have been playing well. They're just not really. Bridgewater's not really turning the ball over. He's making smart decisions. I don't think it's a terrible start, but I don't think it's like a defense where it's like. This might not be a huge shootout, but I don't think you're going to see like 3-4 turnovers.
I look at it like this: as much as Teddy Bridgewater is a backup, he's somewhat of a veteran backup.
He's Sean Payton's backup, which
yeah.
is a good coach.
Yeah, he's been in enough games where he knows not to throw interceptions. He knows how to.
He's a vet at this
Yeah.
point.
He
He
does.
really
He
is.
knows his shit.
Yeah, he knows his shit. Listen
For
to
real,
him.
truly,
Yeah, deeply, madly.
madly, truly.
Savage Garden. All right, we can move on
So
from that
stupid.
game. We got the Texans and the Chiefs. The highest over/under of the week.
Of course, it's always the Chiefs game. Seems like, right?
Yeah. It seems like the recipe is out for the Chiefs. Run the ball, keep the ball away from them. Can the Texans
Yeah.
do that? I don't know.
Right.
I mean, Chiefs are 5-point favorites.
Yeah, don't let Pat Mahomes get the ball. That's how you.
That's how you win the game. Texans side, I mean, Watson, you're firing him up. I feel like DeAndre's due for a massive game.
This to be a massive DeAndre Hopkins game.
Yeah, I feel like he's due
That's
for
hot.
it.
I love the over in this game. I don't mean to cut you off, but I want like every share. If I can get anyone in this game, I want this player in this game.
You start Will Fuller. I guess kind of no brainer. You start Will Fuller is a nice flex play. The running back situation. I mean, it comes down to Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson. Are you playing those two or?
I mean, I'm starting Carlos Hyde. He's averaging 16 touches a game, 10 or more touches in every single game, 60 or more scrimmage yards in 4 of the last 5 games, and he's the goal line back. The Chefs are allowing 5.3 yards per carry. That's the second worst in the league. 156 yards on the ground they're giving up. As Duke Johnson goes, I mean, he's not getting as many carries as Carlos Hyde, and this is pretty much like a full-blown committee. It's like 50-50, but a good stat for Duke Johnson here I saw. 4.3 yards after contact, which is actually the best in the NFL. So the ability for him to break off a big run against a poor run defense in a high over-under game. I guess maybe if I'm in a double flex league or multiple flex league, I'll throw Duke in there. If I'm in a standard league, maybe I'm not so confident for Duke, but I'm definitely playing Carlos Hyde in this matchup.
Yeah, I think I do like him more in a standard though than PPR. With Carlos Hyde, he's not catching the ball at all.
Yeah.
He had one game he had 4 receptions, but he's had 0 the rest of the time.
I just think what's the again? I mean, okay, what's the difference between like him and like a Sony Michel? Because I feel like they're both getting touches. They're both getting like those scrimmage yards. Is it just the
Well, that's what I mean. That's
kind
of what I was saying along the lines of like, Sony's a usable piece. He's in that back end, but I mean, I guess Sony hasn't been the most efficient back either. But
like
Carlos
the same
Hyde
player
is
almost.
I mean, Carlos Hyde is plotted for 21 for 60, 12 for 58, not bad. 10 for 19. Duke Johnson does outrush him. And they're in the same. They're in that 18 to 25 type of range. I just think the difference is with those two is the Patriots run the ball in the red zone, the Texans really don't.
Yeah.
You've been a Lamar Miller guy for years. How many touchdowns did he have over the last 2-3 years?
Yeah, he's only getting 6, I think, every single year.
Yeah, they just don't run the ball in the red zone a lot, and that's kind of it's Deshaun Watson time in the red zone for the most part. I think that's the slight difference between those two. But to touch on that, as far as like rest of season rankings, I think those guys are in the same tier. They're in that 18, 19 to 25 type of running back range.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just saying I like him more in a PPR or standard format than a PPR. We're saying Michelle, I like him more in a standard type of format than a PPR type of format.
Yeah. I mean, on the Chiefs side of the ball, you're not like I said. I want everyone in this matchup because 55-point over under. I think this does go over. I think this is a shootout and forth.
You want Byron Pringle?
It depends if Sammy Watkins would be out. I guess.
I'm just fucking with you.
Nah, because if Sammy Watkins isn't
You
there,
said you wanted everybody in offense.
Who the fuck is this Pringle
No, I mean,
guy?
but I'm saying if Sammy Watkins is not there, then yeah, you got to have guys like Hardman, Demarcus Robinson. I mean, obviously you're starting Kelsey, Mahomes. I think Damian Williams. You're playing him there. McCoy.
This is a big Kelsey game. I feel like the numbers, the targets are there. He had 1 touchdown. I feel like he's due for a 2-touchdown game this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if Watkins and Hill are out, I mean, any of those guys could have big games, but they could also all dud at the same time.
You're throwing him in there for a flex. It's a boom bust flex guy, but the boom value is that's what you're aiming for. You're swinging for the fence.
Are you quick question? Are you a little worried about Shady with his no rush attempts last week? It seemed like what's his name came back, one of the D Williams. I can't think of his name right now.
Damian Williams.
Damian Williams came back and he just took pretty much him and the Williams took all the. I don't think Shady had a carry.
Yeah. No, I think he just fumbled and kind of game script of not seeing as many plays since the Colts kind of had that recipe of like let's run the ball and keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands. So not as many snaps probably that game compared to the first 4 weeks or whatever for the Chiefs. I think in a game like this where it's a boom game, 55-point over under, I think you can start McCoy in this one.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I think you should start him. But if we do see another low carry game where it's the touches on the ground side are dominated by the Williams.
Yeah.
I think we do have to reevaluate Shady's value going forward, where it could be a three-headed monster, and maybe he's not the goal line back at all. And I think it could really, I'm saying this is like a watch week for me with
For
him.
sure, yeah.
And with
I
the whole
agree.
backfield situation in general, this is a real watch week for like, okay,
See how it pans out.
yeah. Now that we have all three guys healthy in a sense, we need to see what happens.
No, yeah, I agree.
Chiefs defense,
No, I'm not starting any defense in this one.
Harrison Bucker.
You're gonna get negative points unless the defense scores a touchdown.
Watch it be like a
Which is
7.
gonna happen.
Watch this is be like a 7-10 game.
Yeah, yeah.
Redskins and Dolphins.
Redskins minus 3.5. 40. Oh, Jesus. 41.5 point over under. This is the official toilet bowl of the week.
True.
The Redskins side of the ball. I mean, Keenum
Nah.
against the Dolphins. No.
New coaching staff who wants to go out and run the ball 500 times.
Yeah.
And fucking age doesn't matter if he runs for 2.1 yards per carry. The team that runs the ball the most wins. No.
So who is on the Redskins side of the ball? I guess outside of Terry McLaurin, who are you playing?
I mean the
AP.
The drum's basically
playing
beating
Chris-
for AP.
Yeah, but I think AP seems like right now the better guy. But I still like Chris Thompson.
Beer bet?
AP over Chris Thompson.
Yeah. Half one PPR. We meet in the middle.
All right.
All right.
Chris Thompson over AP. All right, pussy.
I mean, he's been one of the most efficient backs in the NFL right now. I'm looking at 8 men in the box. So he's actually doing still, even at 46 years old, he's still actually doing well with 8 men in the box. I'm looking at it right now. He's pretty much the most efficient back in the NFL. We know we're Miami fans. You know, they're not a great defense. It should be a neutral game script for both of them. The coach literally came out and said, like, we want to run the ball. We need to establish a run. We haven't gotten AP in a rhythm. These are like 4 different quotes at once. You know, it doesn't matter what the yards per carry is. It matters about the rushing attempts. And the team that runs the ball the most wins. I just put all 7 of his quotes into one like statement. This is like the drum's beating. I've touched on how systems and coordinators change the whole offense, and they change everything and how the team will work. And I'd probably bet my left nutskin that he's going to rush the ball 20 times.
I mean, yeah, if he rushes the ball 20 times, he's going to put up some numbers because Miami is the worst in the NFL in terms of a yard per game average allowed. They're giving up 175 yards per game on the ground, 4.8 yards per carry, and they're tied in the NFL for most rushing touchdowns allowed. They've already given up 7 rushing touchdowns
That's right, bitch.
in 4 weeks. That's not good.
Talking to you.
That's not good. So, yeah, if you have AP this week, you know, especially if you got some bye weeks or, I mean, I don't really, you know, injuries, I guess. But I throw him in. This would be the week where if he can't get it done this week, then
Yeah.
he'd probably be
That's
on the
it.
waiver wire.
I mean, maybe it's a decoy. Maybe he's like, we're going to run the ball. Psych.
Well, play action.
Just airs it out.
McLaurin.
This could be a big McLaurin game.
Yeah. Speaking of McLaurin, I have him in a lot of leagues. I like him. I think I'd trade him off of this week because his
Really?
schedule going down the stretch and the quarterback situation shaky from to McCoy, Haskins, new coordinator wants to run the ball. This is probably going to be one of the best game scripts they have going forward, minus maybe the Giants. I think I move him if he has a big game because he's going to be ranked in the top 18, 17, 16 receivers. And I think he's, you know, someone I'm trying to move after this week if he has a big game. I said I like him. I like the talent. I think he's, as a rookie, he's going to be probably one of the top 3 rookie receivers. But with the schedule that he has and then the quarterback situation being shaky, new system, I think he's someone I'm moving in every league I have him in after this week.
Do you know if Xavier Howard's going to be shadowing him by chance?
Xavier Howard doesn't seem to shadow of it. I know you've been working, so I've watched more of the games, but he doesn't seem to necessarily move to one receiver. He kind of just stays on his side and does what he does.
So you could avoid him if you want to, which would be the smart thing if you're an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, exactly.
Dolphins
side.
what about Redskins defense, though? Because a lot of people I know, they're saying, you know, Miami's giving up the most points from a defensive standpoint. Do you like Miami's? I mean, do you like the Redskins defense as a streaming option this week?
I think it's an okay play.
I think people are overhyping it.
Yeah,
because the Redskins defense really isn't that good.
No, it's not.
So it's like you're looking at the matchup. We go, it's the Dolphins. They're giving all these points, but the Redskins defense isn't really that good. And like I think this will be a closer game than most people expect.
Yeah,
Josh Norman's been looking more like Josh Normal.
I think it's gonna get ready. I think it's gonna.
Solid.
I think it's going to be like a normal football game. As weird as it sounds. Like, it's going to be like, okay, like this is a game where there's not a lot of turnovers. You know, they're running the ball, passing the ball, punts. Like, not necessarily like, you know, you're not going to see like a blowout. It's going to be like a normal 21-24 type of game, and both teams move the ball and score and whatnot. So I don't necessarily like love either defense, but with both teams being as bad as they are, I wouldn't mind starting either of them.
For sure. Miami side of the ball.
The Rosen one?
The Rosen one.
The Rosen
starting the Rosen one?
The Rosen.
What about Drake?
I'm not mad at Drake. I think he's like a low-end RB2 flex guy here. Like, I think the game script will be close. I know there's been some like Mark Walton hype that he's going to get involved, but
I think it's just because he's taking over Balage's role.
he's just taking over
terrible.
Balage's role. Drake is still the main guy there. He's still the best running back there.
Yeah, I think Drake totals.
I wouldn't buy into the Walton hype. I need to see it. If he comes out and then he balls out and like Drake just gets, you know, snap percentages like nothing, then okay, maybe. But I think Drake is still in a game where we touched on too. Like maybe they try to trade him after this week, so maybe this is like his audition to try to, you know, boost his draft capital.
Yeah, I think this is the one game where it's like I feel confident in flexing Drake this week.
Yeah,
I mean, probably I think at least 70 yards through the air and through the ground, the potential for a touchdown. And in PPR format too, he's catching the ball too. So
yeah.
Desperation receivers. I guess we could touch on these real quick.
Albert Wilson.
I mean, I'm in a three wide receiver or three flex league. I'm flexing. I think Preston Williams this week.
Yeah, I'm not mad at for Devontae Parker either. I mean, he's had 3 pretty decent games actually, minus the game where he got blanketed by Stephon Gilmore. But he's, you know, a top 3 corner, you know, from Pro Football Focus. I think he put up a goose egg that game. But outside of that game, the other 3 games have been pretty solid. And you know, I saw a stat where most deep targets, you know, Devontae Parker was top 5 in terms of 20+ yard targets, and then
I mean, every fucking
Interesting.
play.
yeah, but and then
I mean,
also
It is interesting.
Ryan Fitzpatrick and Josh Rosen were top 5 in terms of like deep completion like attempts.
But don't you have to
You
attribute
think?
that to game script, like that they're down? In most
Yeah, but
games?
it could just be the offense of how they're running.
Yeah.
It could be that for
It
sure.
could be the
game
style,
script.
like,
but it
that's
could
what
be
I'm
like
saying.
that's what he is. You know, like
Yeah.
they're the deep threat kind of guy. They're trying to go vertical, like a Bruce Arians type of offense. So
yeah,
see what happens.
Science.
It's interesting.
Yeah. No, I don't hate either of them. They're both like getting deep targets down the field. Here's to put it this way: one of those 2 receivers is going to have a good game.
For sure. Yeah, I guess that's what we're trying to say. One of those 2
out
guys.
of all the Dolphins games,
This is a
shit,
game. This is the game.
This is a game.
This
where
is
a
our
wide
Super Bowl.
receiver should show up. Should.
All right. Eagles and Vikings. The Eagles and the Vikings. That's a horn of Gondor.
That's your Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Everybody left the live stream because you did that.
Eagles side of the ball. Carson Wentz.
Light him
Not the
up.
best matchup, but I feel like you got to have some really good options to bench Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I think so. I think Carson Wentz is probably your number 1. I can imagine what
I think he's a top
if you
6
drafted-
quarterback right now or something like that. Top
I think
7.
if you
He's
drafted
in that
Carson
range.
Wentz,
Yeah, he's at least I'd say it's top 7, like on terms of this whole season.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this matchup is not good though.
It's not the best, but I'm saying like you have to have. Let me see. Let me look at some quarterbacks. Let's
Let me
see.
just say this: I have Wentz in 2 leagues, and call me crazy, but I'm gonna start Kirk Cousins over him just because of the matchup. They're at home, and I think this will be a really competitive game. So I'll just take the quarterback who's at home. I know the Eagles' pass defense isn't the best. They're actually, you know, one of the worst pass defenses, you know, against the receivers and just pass defenses in general. So I'll take, you know, the weapons that they have. You know, they are a stingy run defense, the Eagles' run defense. With that being said, I know I'm kind of jumping over to the Vikings side of the ball, but I do like Kirk Cousins in this matchup. Like I said, I am going to, you know, stream him in 2 of my leagues. Dalvin Cook, you know, man crush. You're dialing him up. He's a savage. He gets it done through the air and the ground. Thielen, you lost the beer bet. Top 24 finish. I think he finished as top 3, top 5 receiver last week. I think like I told you, if you could try to get him on the low, that was it. I don't think you'll be able to do it anymore. It's Stephon Diggs, though, is the one that's probably, you know, killing everybody. But the Eagles allow the 5th most points to wide receivers and the 5th most passing yards total allowed.
I hope so because I played Diggs over Golden Tate.
Yeah. Well, this would be the week right here. If Diggs doesn't get it done in this game at home, in a really good matchup for him, then I would be panicking. If he gets it done though in this game, I'm flipping him instantly.
I think it's a week where they could actually both get it done because the Eagles are. Yeah, I think this is probably Dalvin Cook's to date toughest matchup.
Yeah.
I think they can kind of slow him down a little bit in a sense. And I think Minnesota, to what you touched on, I do like Cousins this week. I haven't liked him at all this year so far for the most part. I do like Thielen again this week. I think the game plan to go into this game is you got to figure they're going to slow Dalvin Cook down a little bit. They're going to put him on preheat, not full cook. And then Mike's
Yeah.
And then, but I think both of these guys could have good games this week, actually. And I do like Cousins this week.
Bold take from one of our viewers on our live stream. We got Cousins. He believes Cousins for 360 and 2 touchdowns to Diggs.
So 360 yards to Diggs?
Yeah.
All to
no.
Diggs?
360 and then 2 touchdowns,
To
for
Diggs.
I
rate it.
Yeah, and then one touchdown to Rudolph for old time's sake.
I like
Solid.
that.
That's from
like it.
user at Dylan Dishery.
I like it, Dylan.
Very good.
We'll make sure to shout you
Dishari.
out.
Shout you out on the gram. We'll throw it out.
But Dylan Dishery is genius, bro.
Dishery.
Yeah, this is the Diggs week right here. If he
does,
doesn't get it done this week, I'm full on panic mode. But like I said, I do think he gets it done this week. Like I said, this squeaky wheel gets the grease. He didn't get it done because Thielen did last week. I think he gets it done this week. And then if I have him, I'm trying to flip him. I am trying to sell him.
Flippity flop.
Oh, Diggs.
Diggs, yes.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause I just don't want to be
100%.
it. I don't have Diggs in any one of my leagues, but it's just because
I have him in 3, so
he's
I got you.
to me he's the third option on a team that wants to run the ball majority of the time and then just play good defense. Because you got to think Thielen's the one, and then honestly, in my opinion, I think Dalvin Cook is the second option most of the time in these passes. So that's why I just didn't like him, but. Yeah, Eagles side of the ball, like we just said, Wentz. It's a tough matchup. I mean, there'd be some quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins, for instance. If you have him, I'd stream him. I'd probably stream even like Minshew Mania just off the top of my head over Carson Wentz here. Just tough matchup on the road. The Vikings defense pretty stout, across the board. What about the running backs here? Jordan Howard's just kind of been falling into the end zone. What's your thoughts on Jordan Howard?
I mean, it seems like they kind of got a rhythm with him.
Yeah.
I'm out of all the Eagles running backs, if I'm gonna play a guy, yeah, I'm down. I think if he's there, I would pick him up.
I think
he's not a bad start. I think there's worse starts out there.
No, for sure.
I think I would play him over Royce Freeman. I would play him over. I might play him. No, not. I might play him over Kenyon Drake. Yeah, I'll play him over Kenyon Drake. There's a couple guys like that. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be playing him over main guys, but yeah, not the worst.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one thing I say is the last 2 weeks he has been playing good, so it's kind of like that scenario where he is performing. I know it's a tough matchup, but I can't imagine you sitting him after him, having some good games here.
Yeah.
But just some stats on Jordan Howard. So he's had 5 carries inside the 5-yard line, and he's converting those 4 of those for touchdowns. So that's good, 80% conversion rate. When he gets close, he's scoring. But some bad things. So he hasn't played more than 53% of the snaps in any one of the games because he is splitting with Miles Sanders. Sproles is still getting incorporated. And then the Vikings have only allowed 1 rushing touchdown so far in the year, only giving up 3.6 yards per carry and 88 yards on the ground per game. So one of the better rushing defenses in the NFL. So tough matchup, but he's performing. But it is almost like if he doesn't fall in the end zone, then you're probably not going to be happy with the production you get from him in this week. But receiver-wise here, I mean, Alshon.
Were you about to make a beer bet, Tyler or
No.
Anthony?
Oh, no, I agree.
Oh, okay.
Would you go? I was just thinking of players. This is like I like to think of like flex situations for people that like have like because you get these analysts like Michael Fabiano. He's like, start Julio Jones, and it's like, yeah, bro, we fucking know. Start
Right.
Deshaun Watson. It's like, yeah, I think everyone's starting Deshaun Watson, but it's like, or you read some of these websites and they're just like, oh, make sure you start. It's like, dude, these are obvious starts. Like people like there's situations.
Sit
where,
Josh Rosen.
Yeah, like it's the ones where you're like
shit.
you're pulling your fucking like hair out at like 9:59. Like, who do I start? Those are the situations where I like to try and think of. But So like Jordan Howard or like Carlos Hyde. I'm like thinking of those two, kind of similar running backs. Like
Carlos Hyde.
I'd go the same way too. I'm Carlos Hyde side of that.
I was saying that I would play Jordan Howard over Kenyon Drake. I would play Jordan Howard over.
PPR, I'd probably go Drake over Howard.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you're a Dolphins fan, so that's.
No, I look at volume and I look at
Would you play
receptions.
Would you play Chase?
You want to beer bet that one too?
Chase Edmonds?
Want to beer bet that one? If
What?
no David Johnson, I'd start Chase Edmonds over.
No. I'm saying with David Johnson.
Oh. With David Johnson?
No.
No.
Okay, no. Yeah, I'll do a beer bet. Jordan Howard or Kenyon Drake. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take Jordan Howard.
Half point PPR.
Half one PPR
Yeah.
in the middle. All right,
Yeah,
let's do it.
I'll take it. Oh, lost a
Oh,
lot.
you already fumbled. You're already down 2 points.
Yeah, no, I'll take Jordan Howard on that for sure.
What about the receivers though? You Alshon Jeffrey, tough matchup. I guess maybe if you have better options, but I find it'd be probably hard to sit Alshon Jeffrey just with the upside that he offers any given week in the offense.
Yeah, I'm not really sitting Jeffrey. He's still a wide receiver 2-3. Xavier Rhodes, I've been saying this for a while now. He's not the same old Xavier Rhodes. It's been almost a year now, and he's not playing at the level
His
he used to be.
Yeah.
He's leveled down.
Yeah.
He went from Super Saiyan to Saiyan.
And then Ertz, you're dialing him up. I don't think there's any of the receivers. Deshaun Jackson's still out with the abdomen.
Yeah, I don't even think he's really practiced yet. He might
Yeah,
be
so
another week
it'd
or
be
two.
good. It's Alshon Jeffrey.
It's
and
Ertz, Alshon, and yeah, that's it.
And then all right. And then we can touch on the Vikings side of the ball already. So next game you get the Falcons minus 2.5.
Apparently, start Kyle Rudolph too.
At the sneaky.
No, do not start
Do not.
Kyle Rudolph.
Falcons are minus 2.5 in Arizona against the Cardinals. 52-point over under. This is another game where I do like the over, and I kind of want as many pieces of this game as I can get. I mean, Matt
Yeah,
Ryan.
I think this over will beer bet on this over being. I think it'll be a higher over than the Chiefs game.
I do. I think this is probably my favorite bet of the week is the over in this game because you got two teams who are throwing the ball crazy, and I know Anthony's touched on it a
Both
couple
those
times
defenses
where you
fucking suck.
the more you throw it, the more opportunity you get, more plays. You know, each team is running more plays per game. But Matty Ice saw 6 straight games with 300 or more passing yards. So, he's getting it done through the air. The Cardinals, Patrick Peterson's still not there. I mean, Julio Jones could have a monster game. All these guys, you got Julio Jones, Ridley, I like him. Even Sanu, I think if you're in a pinch or, you need a flex guy, you're kind of debating on someone you're just touching on flex guys. I would start Sanu, especially like in a PPR league, over like a Jordan Howard. 10 or more PPR points in 4 of the 5 games. He's actually wide receiver 31 on the year, Mohamed Sanu is, and he's playing more snaps than any receiver on the team, which is crazy when you have Julio
It's
Jones.
so weird how that happens with them.
Yeah.
It's like you think of like Julio to play the one. Maybe Sanu would outdo Ridley, but it's like it's
He
crazy.
could
how
just
he's
be
the
like a
one.
better blocker in certain run
true.
plays. But yeah, so he's out there more than any receiver on the team. I like Sanu right here. Sneaky play this week.
Sneaky.
Sneaky. And then you're just starting everyone across the board, I feel like, on the Falcons side. Hooper, Devonta Freeman, everyone.
Yeah.
Cardinals side, Murray could have a top 3 finish this week, I think.
Like I said, he's been like a top 10 quarterback and he hasn't found the end zone. He starts finding the end zone, we'll be talking about him in a different way if he starts throwing 2 touchdowns a week.
Yeah, I saw something where his completion percentage has been rising each week. I think it started out like 57%, but the last couple weeks he's been like around 67%. So getting better, kind of learning how to really be a pro, I guess you could say. David Johnson, like you said, he might be out. So if you have David Johnson, make sure you go get Chase Edmonds. That way you have, you're covering your ass.
Even if you don't have him, go grab him.
Yeah, block, like you said, block him or, and if David Johnson doesn't play, then you can plug and throw in Chase Edmonds.
I mean,
right away, start him.
if David Johnson's out, Chase Edmonds is probably a top 20 play.
Yeah.
I mean, if not,
Because he's one of those handcuffs that he's, like we said before, he's a clear backup.
and he's good too. He's got some talent.
Yeah, he's not bad. I like it.
Like on a per touch basis, I think he's actually been a little bit better than David Johnson has this year. I know it's different when you're the full time versus the part time starter, but he's been pretty efficient this year.
Yeah. Receiver wise, Larry Legend, you're dialing him up. What about Christian Kirk? I know he was kind of out. He sat out last week.
I don't know his status as of. Let me.
I
see
think
if
he's been limited, but he's still questionable. With that being said, a sneaky play also here could be Keyshawn Johnson. He had 71 snaps last week, And that was actually the most out of any receiver, when you think, like I said, kind of crazy with Sanu and Julio Jones. But just think that Keyshawn Johnson had more snaps than Larry Fitzgerald. 71 snaps for Johnson, Keyshawn Johnson, that is. And then only 54, I think it was, for Larry Fitz. So he's on this field for a good amount more than Larry Fitz was.
Yes.
So if Christian Kirk's not there, I think Keyshawn Johnson could be a sneaky play.
Yeah, 7 targets last week. I mean, the efficiency, three catches for 22 yards. Don't love it against Cincinnati. He was the preseason guy, though. He was like their preseason hype man in a sense. But like you said, desperation type of receiver. Christian Kirk's out. I don't hate it.
Could be like a sneaky good, deep, those receivers like Sanu and Keyshawn. If you're doing a DFS, a sneaky good 1-2 combo, safe floor for PPR wise. Probably get them on the low and some DFS matchups or whatever. But
Neither defense.
No, this is gonna be 35 to 42.
Either way, who knows?
Next matchup, 49ers playing against the Rams. Rams -3.
Every time we talk about the Rams, you got to fucking headbutt the goddamn microphone. It's a fucking $100 microphone right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so 3.5 over under. 3.5 over under. 3.5 point spread for the Rams. 50 point over under. I kind of like the under in this one. I think this is like a division game. There are two good offenses, but division game. I think they'll keep it close, kind of back and forth. I'm not expecting a shootout like the Cardinals-Falcons game here. 49ers side of the ball. I mean, what's your thoughts here?
They run the ball and they run it good.
I mean, Tevin Coleman looked really good.
He did. My only thing with Tevin Coleman,
All their running backs look good.
Yeah,
literally that system is
That's true.
Shanahan's just
they really
a running back guru.
Here's the thing: is that they all, like you said, they all look good. You can almost play all of them with the potential upside of getting the touchdowns.
I mean, there's running backs from, Matt Breida,
Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, I mean, even Kyle Juszczyk was kind of usable at a point.
Wait, who?
Yeah, no.
Didn't he get hurt? He's hurt. He's got an MCL sprain. He's gonna be out.
Yeah. Oh, he got hurt.
Yeah, I mean that's just head coach Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, you checked. He did get hit.
Who?
Fuck him up, Eric! Fuck you, get.
I need a clip that just fuck you, Kyle. That part.
Nah,
No, the whole thing's funny.
The whole thing's funny.
But if it's just fuck you, Kyle, just that part.
But I mean, kind of touched on that. Kyle Juszczyk is out for a little bit. That's their fullback, and well, that's kind of obvious. But they did lose another lineman. I know that one of the linemen went out too. So I don't know how that affects.
Yeah, they have the left tackle Joe Staley. He's already out for a couple weeks. But then the other, I think it's Mitch Magorski or something like
Magorski.
that. It's something weird like that. But the right tackle, he's out.
Yeah, Magorski.
Hey, Magorski.
Hey, here's the thing: is that Mitch Magorski is going to be in, so he likes to block the ball. So fucking good.
No, he's not going to be in.
Oh, Mitch Magorski is out.
He's out.
So fuck all the running backs because of this one.
This is our Russian correspondent.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is that when the O-line is not good, then the running backs are also not good.
Unless you play for the 49ers.
Unless you play for 49er. What is 49er for? Why numbers for team name?
That's how many
I
points
think it's reminding.
Tevin Coleman's going to have.
Could you imagine 49 points?
I know.
Beer bet. He won't get 49 points.
No, I'm definitely not.
Beer bet that 49ers don't get 49 points to one entire running back.
But are you starting? Okay, so the running backs. Are you starting Breida? I feel like you can flex both Breida and Coleman.
Yeah, I think after what you saw last week, you have to just in this offense.
Yeah.
They're at least flex guys.
They're running for over 200 yards a game.
They're at least RB2s, flex guys.
Yeah.
Depending on how your roster is constructed. But yeah, I'm not mad. I'm playing both those guys.
And I mean, Kyle Juszczyk was I'm looking at the snap percentage right now: 47, 51, 63, 45. I know he's in the field as a fullback too, but some of those are he's getting carries and involved too. Matt Breida, Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert pretty much were a three-way split last week. But yeah, like I said, they're running for over 200 yards a game. I think it was 220 yards. They're a legit just rushing monster.
Yeah.
It's almost like the receivers of the Rams are like the running backs of the 49ers.
What about the receivers or Jimmy G here? I think we say it all the time. If it's picking a receiver, pull the trigger.
Yeah. Pull it.
I don't want to do it.
Gun to
yeah.
your head. Gun to your head.
Pull it.
Pull that fucking
Double tap.
trigger.
Double tap me.
Finish me off.
Yeah.
Jimmy
It's
G.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Give me the Minshew mania.
Yeah. But Kittle, you're starting.
Give me Kirk Cousins. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
In the
I start
matchup.
Kirk Cousins. I start Minshew. I start Kyle Allen.
Yeah.
George Kittle, you start him. We guess we can move on to the Rams side there. Oh, what about 49ers D?
I do like the 49ers defense, so if I had him, I wouldn't be dropping him. I mean, Goff has not been very good, so you can maybe stream him up, you know.
I
Like said,
have him.
I wouldn't drop
I,
them.
I think I'm just thinking of rolling with them.
Yeah.
That defensive line is just nasty. They're creating turnovers. I know it is in like the Rams, but just the 50-point overrun. I think it's under game too.
Yeah. Rams side of the ball, with that being said, Goff has not been good. Yeah, he's looked he's just been like up and down. I mean, one thing I guess you say he does play better when they're at home.
Yeah, I was going to point that out or bring that up.
But he is so inconsistent. He would probably be a guy where also, again, I'm playing a guy like, I'd rather play like a Minshew or like a Kirk Cousins, kind of just off the top of my head, over him. Just because the 49ers defense has been pretty stout and tough division game, I think, here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably outside my top 12. This is a good defense. They get a lot of pressure. If Gurley is out too, I think that probably only hurts his upside. We've said a couple times in the show, grab Malcolm Brown if he's there. If you're listening to this, go check your waiver wire at this moment, at this second, if you don't have him. Gurley's popped up with a quad contusion, so it's not even like his knee. It's a separate injury. If Gurley's out, though, I think you fire up Malcolm Brown as like an RB2 this week.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Onto the receiver side, Cooper Kupp, set it, forget it.
He's a set it and forget
Robert
it.
Woods, I feel like Robert Woods is due for a touchdown.
He hasn't been like the greatest, but he hasn't been bad either. I think he's
Yeah.
had one bad game, but even in that game, I remember watching it. He actually caught a touchdown where he actually had like several big plays taken back due to penalties. So he could have had a monster game.
He's had some numbers taken back from penalties. I know that for sure. And like I said, I don't know if he's scored yet on the year or if has one touchdown. I'm trying to look it up right now. But
I know Brandon Cooks I think he's in the concussion protocol. So just be kind of, if you have him, monitor him. I feel like each week you're starting all three of these guys just with in the offense and the upside they offer. You're starting all three of these receivers. So just keep an eye on it. That he
Did you guys
is
say
not
talking-
in fact concussed.
What about Gerald Everett? You probably picked him up on waiver wires this week if you were looking for a tight end.
Yeah.
I like it.
Would you start him or OJ Howard?
Like how we just sigh. We're just like,
I'd probably play even against the Niners defense, which has been fucking pretty legitimate. I'd probably play Gerald Everett just because.
I think if Cooks is out, I'm for sure playing Everett.
Yeah,
because I think that.
But even then, even without Cooks out, I still like the. I feel like the Rams are more likely to. The Rams are.
wait,
more,
why did you sound like an angry Asian guy? Oh, why you looking at me like this?
Why, you know,
Not
play
right.
Gerald Everett. Hey, listen,
I got to start Gerald Everett.
dude, that was really good. I'm
Thanks, dude.
impressed.
Learning from you,
I
dude.
feel like you've been practicing, and I'm excited about that. Listen, I would be playing Gerald Everett over OJ Howard, just because I've with the coaching, it seems like Sean McVay's down
Smart.
to actually use.
he's smart, he wants to be like, no, we don't use the tight end here in Tampa Bay.
I don't know. Bruce Arians has pulled away some wins that nobody thought they were going to win.
True.
I
know
think
what I mean?
I think
So
for me
how-
it would be if Cooks is out, then I'll lean Everett. But if Cooks is there, then I'm probably gonna go OJ Howard. It sounds gross.
All right, Cook's still in. We'll start this beer bet. Cook's in. I take Gerald Everett. You guys take OJ Howard.
Cooks in, I'd still take
Cooks
Gerald
in.
Everett.
I'll take OJ Howard
Okay.
in this matchup.
Beer bet.
All right, triple. Wait.
Wait,
Wait,
so
why are
you're
you
on my
shaking
side?
your
Yeah, I'm on your side.
All right. Yeah. Fuck yeah, pussy.
Dude, yeah. OJ Howard, half point PPR.
Yeah,
Right.
meet in the
Half
middle.
point, yeah.
We'll
I
see.
feel like we always do half
I
point.
think, I mean, I guess if you went out and spent some fab or a
I
high priority
put
on
it this way, I
Everett.
hope OJ Howard has a better game.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
but if you went out and spent something on Everett, you're probably getting to play him because you probably need a tight end, so you probably throw him in your lineup, especially after the last couple weeks he's had. But I think that was more game script than just he's being incorporated. I mean, when you have those 3 receivers out there, and even Gurley, to me, he's like the 4th, probably realistically like the 5th option in the passing attack. So in games where like I do think this is going to be more of like a defensive, like a division game, like a closer game, not like a high scoring game where he's going to have to throw the ball 60 times against the Bucks. I think the upside, unless he falls into the end zone, Gerald Everett, I don't think it's there.
Well, this is the only thing I do like on the Gerald Everett side is I paid attention to is like Sean McVay in the offseason was saying we want to get him incorporated more. Like he was he was saying like I want like the tight ends to be a little bit more involved. I want to like not always run the 3 wide receiver set. That's when New England beat them. This is basically what happened. Like I don't always want to be in the 3 wide receiver sets. Want to be less more predictable, and I want to mix it with schemes. So there was an offseason thing, and there was even going into preseason and whatnot, where he was saying that I want, Gerald
To
Everett
mix it up.
Yeah, mix it up and Gerald Everett to
Right.
be involved. So with that said, maybe it took a couple weeks for them to get that going. I think there's potential, maybe not 8, 11 targets, 100 yards, but maybe he sees a consistent 5, 6 targets a week. And
Yeah, I could see him seeing 5 to 8 targets a week.
yeah, and then it is the Rams offense, still a good offense too.
And 8 targets for a tight end is
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah, I mean even 5 to 6, that's a solid for a tight end. So I think there is something to maybe he's a consistent, top 12 tight end, not top 5 like he was the last 2 weeks, but maybe he is a top 12 going forward.
For sure. What
that's
about
it.
Gurley, though? I mean,
Oh, sorry.
Just some numbers right here. The 49ers haven't given up a rushing touchdown all season, only giving up 3.8 yards per carry. And they've actually allowed the least amount of receptions to running backs and the second fewest receiving yards to running backs. So tough matchup on paper. He has the quad. He still always has the knee, I guess. That could
I
flare
think he
up.
has 2.
It's just, he does have 2 quads. Probably has got way more than that.
He's
Dude, when I
But it's a tough matchup, and he's a little banged up. Are you a little concerned? I mean, obviously, if you have Gurley, you're throwing him in your lineup.
Yeah.
But are you a little nervous? Like, let's say he goes out there and he has a dud game, he only gets you, I guess, a dud game, like 10 points.
I'm
Are you a
concerned 'cause
little
I think
bit
it's- I think
upset,
it's
or
a
are you just
game-
like, it was a bad matchup?
I think this is a game where even if he does start, I'm worried about them limiting him due to the limited practices.
Yeah.
All right, so I think there's potential for him to. He was at 91% last week. I think there's potential for him to go back to 60 to 70% on the workload. And like you just pointed out, all the stuff that being a tough matchup with that.
For sure, yeah, I agree.
But with that said, too, you just said that they're to the Gerald Everett side. Is that tight end and running back targets correlate? Because they're like, I don't know what. There's just a similar correlation. So if they're having a hard time with, if he's out, I think that's also a boost for Gerald Everett as well. If Todd Gurley's out.
Yeah, I agree.
No, yeah, you're right. That's
I
the
agree.
Because
correlation.
those positions kind of correlate when it comes to targets.
Yeah. When you by the way, when you said that he's got more than one quad, it reminded me when I used to play soccer, we used to have this like special trainer who would like sprint us and like do these like special exercises to just try and like give us like conditioning.
Does
as,
he
a
like touch you
conditioning trainer.
sometimes?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
and
what?
he would slide into our butts, dude. It was crazy. No, but anyways, we would always like pretend like we were hurt, right? Because we hated doing this. Because it was just basically extra conditioning. We would just like pretend like we were hurt.
Coach, I'm hurt.
Yeah, so we had this we had this Russian kid on our team named Vlad, and he didn't really speak English that well. And they were like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, my ankle. It's like kind of fucked up. Oh yeah, my hamstring." And then they got to Vlad, and he was like, he couldn't speak English very well, so he was just like, I got the knee. And then they were like, he was like, "Okay, you got a knee. Okay, here we go." It's super funny. It reminded me of it when you guys said that.
I got the knee.
Little story time for you, Vladislav. He make up injury.
Rams defense. I mean, they have all the names, but they've been giving it up
Yeah.
worse than Blair.
I was
If you know
about
what I'm talking
I
about.
was about to say that too.
If listeners, you don't know who Blair is, just she was a hoe. Faux show. Next
next
matchup, Titans at Denver playing the Broncos -2.5, 39-point over under. I say it every week. Titans side of the ball, Delaney Walker and Derrick Henry. Next.
Next. Yeah,
That's
great.
pretty much what it is. Broncos side, I mean, I think 39 points is not a lot, but I do kind of like the under in this game. I think two pretty decent defenses, two par offenses at best. I mean, with that being said, Cortland Sutton, actually, I saw this before we did. He's a wide receiver 11 so far. I mean, are you at least flexing like him, Emmanuel Sanders?
Yeah, I feel like you flex them both.
It's like all these players are flex. Like Philip Lindsay's like a flex guy. Even like I have to start Royce Freeman this week. Just I mean, this is a full blown running back by committee. There's a true 50-50 split.
I mean, that's where kind of like I know like we were talking about like you said you're worried about like Sony and stuff like that. This is where I get to a situation where like these guys are kind of like the RBs 25 through 32. Royce Freeman and stuff like that. That's where it's like when I was saying that they're usable pieces still. Like there's still like value with these guys is like on a weekly basis you're gonna start Sony or Royce Freeman. I think 9 times out of 10 you're gonna kind of lean towards the Sony side. It's like you just get these guys who have like in a timeshare where it's like it's a 10-15 carry max type of situation, but you can still flex Freeman, you can still flex Manny Sanders, you can still flex Sutton, Philip Lindsay. I think you flex all these guys like you said.
Yeah, you like the defenses in this matchup? Titans defense, Broncos defense.
I like Titans defense.
I do like the Titans
I
defense.
would say I like the Titans defense more than the Broncos defense, which is weird because the Broncos are favored and at home, but
Yeah,
I think
I
the
just
Titans
like
are more like opportunistic as the way the season's gone so far.
the Titans
Yeah.
defense. I think is better, and I also think that Joe Flacco is actually Broncos Mariota. I think in a pinch, both these aren't too bad. I always look at quarterbacks when they're not.
I mean,
gonna,
39 point over under, so not a lot of points expected to be scored, according to Vegas.
Yeah, and I still would probably take that under.
That's what I was saying. I do like the under in this game.
Kind of like the over.
Beer
Let's
bet?
see.
God damn it.
By the way,
points? That's not much. Yeah.
Beer bet?
Mile high.
yeah, let's do it.
Dude, 20 points in field goals.
Can we actually fucking?
I had 3 beers. I had 6.
Yeah, he's drinking. He's like White Claw.
Drinking for next week.
Okay,
No, I had 4.
All right, over. I'll take the under. Take the over.
dude, the podcast though it does. We got to add it to the story or something on Sunday, like the end of Sunday night. Like, you got to drink your beers. Whatever.
Just
Okay.
tell him you won't. You won't.
You won't. You won't on the
See
end
how
of Sunday
Stacy's
when
got
you
so
lose.
serious? He's like, "Fuck."
No. No.
On Sunday night, dude.
No.
You don't think that's good?
No.
Okay.
No, we gotta be up at 6:45.
Anthony's the first person to have a fucking day job. Let's go. Let's talk.
All right, next game.
okay,
Cowboys
yeah,
are minus
over.
7.5.
Is it over?
Yeah. Shake.
All right, Cowboys minus 7.5 at New York against the Jets. 43 point over under. Supposed to get Sam Darnold back for the Jets. On the Cowboys side, I mean,
Is that your jet impression?
Yeah. Don't ever let me fly a jet because it'll crash if that's a jet.
You know why they're called the Jets?
Like the team?
Yeah. Do you know why they're named the Jets?
Oh, no.
It's because their first stadium was very close to an airport, so a lot of the jets were landing next to it, so they named it the New York Jets.
I like it.
Is this real or is this
No,
fake?
that's a real story.
Oh.
That's really how it was named.
Okay.
For sure. All right, Cowboys side of the ball.
So you're not far off on your impression, by the way. So.
I think Cowboys side of the ball, it's Dak, Zeke, Amari Cooper, and then we've kind of seen like the emergence of Michael Gallup, and I think you're just dialing up all those guys.
Yeah, I think Gallup's the one I try and get.
Yeah.
I feel like he had the
You can
injury
trade-
for 3-4 weeks. You gotta try
Yeah.
and trade for him.
I think you could throw a package trade and throw Michael Gallup in there, kind of like as like a wide receiver 3 flex option, but he could easily turn into, coming off this injury, he could turn into like a wide receiver 2, I think.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
yeah, I've liked Michael Gallup. He's one of our sleepers going into the year, and it's just nice to see like him kind of pan out, you know.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of one of the reasons I like Dak this a little bit. I was a little bit higher on Dak than maybe some people. Is that I just thought Gallup last year as a rookie, like you saw what he could do, and like he had a couple 70, 80-yard games. I think he had a couple hundred. Might have had 100-yard games too, and he's developing. You're seeing him be a a wide receiver 2. I think there's a decent chance, even missing some games, he finishes in the top 30 this year.
Yeah, I mean, like we've touched on it a couple times. Like when he wasn't there, we wondered if Cobb or Devin Smith would kind of take those targets, but they just weren't. Yeah, they weren't. Jason Witten wasn't.
It comes down to talent. Like he's just a different talent level than those other two guys.
It seems like the running game even got more established while Michael Gallup was gone.
Yeah,
Ezekiel Elliott seemed to get more targets.
Well, one thing, Zeke had a 22% target share last year, and I think he had like 90. I don't want to say 90
some
receptions.
targets, but
90
he had
some targets,
77 receptions.
And he's actually has a regression this year. I think he's only at like 14% or 12% target share. So, and I think what it is you're seeing the emergence of Michael Gallup, like these extra, and even having Jason Witten back to take a couple targets here and there. I think a couple targets here and there, and then the real emergence of Michael Gallup is really limiting those targets that Zeke was kind of getting in the passing game. Because instead of dumping it off in the screens or whatever to Zeke, he's stretching the field with Michael Gallup.
Well, it's more of it's an offensive scheme thing. It's different. It's a different coordinator. Like I said, I always keep bringing this up because I think it's something we need to really start paying attention to.
Yeah,
and it's more
coaching,
of a it's coaching. It's more of a vertical. It's a lot. It's a different. It's not like the old the coordinator. There was more of that old school type kind of ground and pound. We're gonna run it like 350 times. Like Zeke's not on pace for 300 something carries. I punched his numbers because I have him in a lot of leagues, and I'm considering moving him for some other pieces. I think he's on pace for 271 carries, which would be a lot lower than every year by almost like 40 carries.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more of a pass-heavy offense, and they're not like.
Well, you got to think when Zeke was drafted. Before Zeke was drafted, it was the Des Bryant show. It seemed like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I think so. I was trying to. Sorry, I wasn't like being.
before
I was
Zeke,
thinking back. I was like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before Zeke, it was more of like a passing offense a little bit. And
yeah, you
then
had Romo, and then it was like
it was more of
Dez.
like So like you kind of had that going on, and so they didn't really have wide receiver options. They lost Des Bryant. They kind of were like establishing before they had Amari Cooper. Who do they have? You know what I mean? So they get Amari Cooper. They get fucking all of a sudden Michael Gallup's putting up numbers. Now, like you said, there's a passing game. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's just the offense is changing.
And the coordinator is like he's a younger style coordinator. I think he's maybe like in his 30s or something like that. And he's more of that like new school type of pass the ball, like move the ball through that. Like I said, Zeke
seeing it working with other teams.
Yeah, Zeke every year has been on pace for 300, sometimes even like 340 carries. And, with games he didn't play and something like that. Like he played 10 games, but he's on pace for 270 carries and 40 receptions would be his lowest touches by. I don't want to say far, but it's be his lowest touches to his career date. And that's why I'm considering moving him is because I don't really see the offense changing. I don't see the need to. They're playing well. I don't see them going to the Ezekiel at 27 carries a game. I think Zeke has a peak value still, and I'm considering moving him in some leagues because the offensive system.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. I like it.
Like to me, he's not that far off from, I don't have him ahead. Like you have McCaffrey ahead of him for sure at this point. You have Kamara. I like one league in particular. I have him, Fournette, and Carson. I'm like, there's not much of a difference in Zeke between those two guys.
Yeah, not too far off. You got the name. You can.
Yeah, and I'm saying I can move that name to get a lot more.
I like that.
With that, and that's kind of what I'm pointing out with Zeke is the system is changing and it's different.
I like that.
But yeah, like we said, start Gallup, start Cooper, start Zeke, Witten.
No, it's not that.
It's not that.
Get the Jets. You don't think that there's going to be a little bit of scoring? Jets defense is actually not bad.
I mean, Witten's just like what you're going to get. You're getting 4, maybe 5 targets tops, and if he doesn't get the end zone, his average depth of target's been like 5 yards. So you're looking at like 4 catches, 27 yards. If you don't get a touchdown,
I think you might have just predicted his stats.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to
Watch,
predict.
we're gonna look at the sheet.
It's not that hard to predict.
Win 4 catches for 27 yards.
4 catches for 27
Yeah, that's like what he's gonna get.
and 0 touchdowns.
0 touchdowns.
All right, bet.
No, I don't want to be bit.
Okay, 15-1 odds. If he gets it, you have to drink 15 beers.
Okay, if he gets exactly that,
4 catches for 27 yards, you have to drink 15 beers.
15-1.
But if he doesn't, then
You
I have to
drink
drink
one.
1 beer. Say less.
Okay,
I
dude.
hope he gets.
Yo,
her
if that happens, that is some legendary shit right there.
Let me write this one down.
Yeah.
For receptions, 27 yards.
I mean, you already tried to bring what a 30-pack in like an hour once, or what you try to do?
Try to
I was
Wade
doing-
Boggs it.
Yeah, the Wade Boggs challenge.
What was it? What did you do?
Apparently Wade Boggs is a baseball player. Apparently he drank, I think, like 40 beers or something, or like 60 beers in like a 6-hour flight. So I did the math. So it's basically like 10 beers per hour, or like 10, something like that. Or 10 beers. I drank like 10 beers in like 10 minutes or something like that. I broke it down.
Did you actually drink all 10?
Yeah, I threw up on 7, and then I drank the next 3. Yeah, after I threw up, and then when my hard drive crashed, so I lost the video.
Oh, I was like, didn't you post it on YouTube?
I was going to, but then I lost the video.
Dude, that sucks.
Dude,
All right, Jets side of the ball.
Bell.
Le'Veon Bell. You start the Bell.
How about Sam Darnold?
I think Sam Darnold's a sneaky guy. You're not starting him this week, so you want to see if he could be rusty. And I do think the Cowboys' defense is better than, I guess from a
They've
fantasy
they've played
standpoint.
so
Yeah,
far.
they're a better team. But I do like Sam Darnold going forward. The schedule gets pretty nice for them. And, I mean, having Le'Veon Bell out of the backfield, you have Demaryius Thomas, Robbie Anderson, Jameson Crowder. It's a solid 1-2-3 combo for receivers. And then, Chris Herndon was supposed to come back from suspension, but tweaked the hammy, so he's going to be out for another week or two. But once he comes back, I think, across the board, solid weapons everywhere.
Yeah.
And, here's a quarterback. I think he went number 2 overall or 3 overall or something like
I
that.
think the
'cause there's no-
second half of the season, the Jets are going to actually get a couple wins.
Yeah.
I think that they had a lot of rough injuries, suspensions, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
mono.
With some skilled position players,
Yeah.
It was funny. I was like, Adam Gase was like, this is an idiot, I think he is. They're actually, Jets fans already want him fired.
Really?
I was reading
Oh, dude,
that.
He should not be a head coach.
No.
I'll say that much.
he really shouldn't.
He shouldn't know. But he was like when Chris Herndon came off suspension, he's like, we need to see what he could do on the field before we start him. And it's like, bro, like, really?
Like, yeah. Start him over who?
Yeah.
Or start who over Chris Herndon?
Yeah.
Who do you
What
got?
an idiot.
Coach is just such
Exactly.
he's such an
Idiot.
idiot.
Why is there
He's trying.
Why is he so fucking stupid?
You guys can't say the fucking things.
Well, dude, because we're saying it because if we had a drop, I would have hit it.
Yeah, we would hit it.
Yeah, I would have been on it.
Yeah, but I'm the drop hitter, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
you're
dude, but are
doing
you?
a
You're not dropping
fantastic
it like it's
job at that.
hot. You're dropping it like it's not. There you go. Click
Oh,
those buttons.
Jesus Christ. What about Jeffrey?
It was not a flub.
It wasn't a flub for me, pussy.
Just one interesting stat I saw on Le'Veon Bell here. We kind of thought, was he going to get that same workload as he did in Pittsburgh? And it could
Yes.
just be without, Sam Darnold being there. And, there was a point where they were just leaning on him every single play, it seemed like, in one game. But 85% of the runs and then 28% target share. When he was in Pittsburgh, he never averaged more than 82% of the runs and 19% of the target share, and he only has 2 red-rated matchups left for the rest of the year. Red-rated matchups means it's like a top 5 like bad matchup. A lot of green-rated matchups, meaning good matchups for him going forward. He would be a guy I'd be trying to buy in the low right now if I could.
Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, flip him somehow. Like, I don't know. If I could flip an Odell for a Le'Veon Bell somehow, even if I have to package Odell with someone to get Le'Veon Bell, I would do something like that.
I like
Yeah.
it.
I don't mind that.
I think the future is bright
Yeah.
for the Jets and a lot of their offensive
Yeah.
pieces.
Would you receiver side? Would you start Jeffrey,
Fuck it, send it in.
the giraffe?
Oh, Jeffrey the Giraffe.
Yeah.
Fuck it, send it in.
I mean,
What's
one thing.
Sam Darnold being back? That's why it's like
Yeah,
I know
one
he
thing
hasn't
with Robbie
been good
Anderson,
with,
he's all it takes is one play for him. He could literally have one catch, 7 yards, and a touchdown. So I mean, it's you want to take the home run risk, but if he strikes out, you can't be mad at yourself for throwing him in
'cause
there.
I think he's the only receiver we're really considering in this matchup.
Yeah,
so
I do
it's-
like Robbie Anderson going forward, though. I've noticed he's been getting dropped in a couple leagues because he hasn't really been performing. But he's been with a third-string quarterback, tough matchups. He's had some tough corners to face against. So, like I said, the schedule definitely does get better for the Jets just in general.
I think he had the toughest rated like cornerback matchup coming into the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Fuck
All
it.
right, Steelers and Chargers. Steelers side of the ball. Mike, you got any homer picks?
Deontay Johnson.
Start Devlin Hodges in every league.
Top 5 quarterback.
I don't know, man. Look, okay. Do you want to know what's going on or what?
Yeah. Send it.
Send
it.
The Steelers are gonna fucking win the Super Bowl, dude. No, you got the third string quarterback. I think that this is gonna be big for James Conner. Jalen Samuels, he got a scope on his knee, just the same as Turbo McStoney Michelle. So you got backup Benny Snell Jr. I actually picked up Benny Snell in like 2 leagues, just in case. Jalen Samuels seemed to be getting more and more involved in the offense. I think that with third string quarterbacks, things like that going on with the Pittsburgh's offense, I think that they're leaning on making some trick plays and getting some extra running backs involved. So I think Benny Snell's not a bad ad. That's why I put him on my team. I don't know. I don't even think I talked about it on the waiver wire, but yeah, I don't start a quarterback though. I would say James Conner is probably a good start. I like it. Yeah. Besides that, Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster scares me. I think you still might need to start him. I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think? James Washington?
He's out.
Out. Yeah, don't play him.
Yeah, don't play him. He's out. Yeah, I mean, we're down to the third string quarterback, so I don't think you can trust Deontay Johnson when it comes to a third string quarterback now.
I look at it as like maybe a dump off guy. It seems like a lot of his passes are kind of shorter.
Yeah,
I'm not mad. I'm just not mad at Deontay. Out of all the guys, I like James Conner. I like Deontay Johnson.
All right.
I don't know. That's my 2 guys.
Yeah, I think he still can. I think he still flex Juju.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to sell Juju right now.
I think it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, it is hard.
I feel like you don't want to give up too. I feel like you're gonna get nothing for him, in a sense of like what you like.
What you drafted him for, but
Yeah, and then it's like, I don't know. He's a tough player to.
yeah.
I don't know. That's the counselor.
It's
It's just a tough matchup. Though. My bad, I kind of spaced it. But, he's going to see Casey Hayward on the outside. Desmond King, you guys touch on that? Sorry.
No.
But he's going to see Desmond King when he goes to the slot. And then when he goes to the outside, it doesn't get any better. He's going to see Casey Hayward. So, super tough matchup. But it'd be hard to sit Juju.
Chargers kind of shit on us last year, too. Even when we had
all
Big
over your
Ben.
chest, yeah.
Yeah, they
Chili
shit all
dog,
over
yeah.
us. They didn't have Melvin Gordon. That was when it was between Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson last year, and they still shit all over us. So
Yeah, I think Juju still went over 70 yards in like 4 or 5 games, so he still had a yardage he still had his yardage there.
yeah,
I know it's the third string, but that third string might just lock onto Juju and just say, "Fuck it, YOLO."
yeah.
I'm just going Juju and that's it. So, like I said, I think he's still flex Juju.
I don't think you should bench Juju.
Yeah, he's still a talent.
I still think he's a talent, and out of any offensive pieces that there is, if I was going to bet on who's going to have the most fantasy points this week, I'm going to say it's going to be Juju.
And like you said,
I would say it was James Conner, then it would be Juju.
And like you said, at the point of like they can dump something short. I mean, Juju's one of the he's that Odell type where he takes a 4-yard slant and turns it into a 70-yard touchdown.
Sure.
He does it on like a
All the
regular
time.
basis. So
He has like 2 like in his first 2 years was like, or his
He's
first
like
year
two-
was like
he has
2
two this year, I
95-yard
think. Yeah.
touchdowns. Yeah, that it were small slant routes like that. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
So I guess we move on the Chargers side. I mean, that's pretty much it for the Steelers. Or Steelers D. Like I said, I don't mind the Steelers D this week,
Yeah,
bro.
Steelers defense is just somebody that you can plug in week and week out. I think.
Yeah, I think if they're there, I mean, you can play them this week against the Chargers. Chargers are
I mean,
down
dude,
a lot of offensive linemen. The Steelers defense is making a lot of pressure.
That Steelers linebacker that we drafted was Devin Bush. That dude's making a lot. He's getting a lot of sacks. He's getting a lot of he's just making a lot of tackles. He's really good. Plus the Minka, the deep threat's getting pushed away.
Yeah.
There's just,
having Minka's going to help against Keenan Allen for sure. He's gonna he's gonna make a difference there. And then they lost 2 offensive linemen. They lost their starting left tackle a couple weeks ago. They lost their starting center. I mean, those are things that they go under the radar, but they need to be noted.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if the running game for the Chargers struggles a little bit this week.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. I think the Steelers it's an under the radar, low key, okay play as a defense.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers was not throwing the ball deep at all last week. He struggled last week against who was it? Who they play last week?
The Broncos.
Yeah.
They were at home against the Broncos.
Yeah, and
that's
I
They were
put,
called home. They play in
I-
a soccer stadium.
yeah, and the Steelers defense. I mean, I kind of feel like they're a better defense than the Broncos are.
Yeah.
And
For
he,
sure,
he
yeah,
struggled against
100%.
them. So I mean, what's not to say he goes out and struggles again against in the soccer stadium against the Steelers? I kind of like the Steelers defense to kind of put some pressure on him, make some plays, and I honestly, it sounds a little crazy when you look at Steelers, but like this defense is playing.
Yeah.
So I don't mind the Steelers defense this week.
Yeah, no, I'm not mad at it. Chargers side of the ball. Speaking of Phillip Rivers, I think I'd have some better options. I know we keep saying
Yeah.
Minshew, Kirk Cousins,
Josh Allen
Kyle Allen.
or Kyle Allen.
Fuck you, guy.
Fuck you, guy.
Yeah, I'd rather start some of those guys like that over Rivers. The running back situation, Gordon, Eckler. I mean, you still got to keep just dialing up Eckler every week. He's a set it and forget it.
Yeah.
What about Gordon? Because he kind of like underperformed. I know his first game back. Eckler actually was getting all the love. I think 15 receptions or something stupid like that.
Yeah, he had like some retarded.
But I think if you have Melvin Gordon, you didn't wait this whole time. You didn't spend your draft capital on him to like when he's finally back to bench him. I
I'm
think
in a
you're still
position-
at least flexing him, right?
You're still at least flexing him. I do think though that I think Eckler played so well that he ate into the snap share of what Melvin Gordon was last year, and I don't think you're getting Melvin Gordon of last year this year at all.
No.
Like I said, I think I said that
I
on the
think it's
podcast.
gonna
I think you should have traded Melvin Gordon when he was coming back before he came back.
I still want to trade Austin Eckler.
I would keep
I think-
Austin Eckler. I'm on the opposite side of this.
See, I think I'll disagree, and I'll say that I think that Austin Eckler is coming back, or I mean, he's losing his space. They have a lot of faith in Melvin Gordon. They have for the past like 2 years. He's been their guy, and I think there's been a holdout, and Austin Eckler's done well, but they've known what Melvin Gordon's done, and they're gonna trust him. That's in my opinion. I think
Here's something I want to point out with that is so with 2-3 years of Melvin Gordon's career, he was not an efficient running back on the ground. And last year, their offensive line was the best offensive line they've ever had. They've lost 2 key pieces. So, with that said, Austin Eckler, like even Tyler pointed in the offseason, we were talking about Justin Jackson, this and that. He was like, he's been way more efficient as far as elusive rating, all that, than Melvin Gordon has. And with them losing 2 key pieces in the offensive line, does Melvin Gordon go back to a 3.5 yard per carry type of guy and not as efficient, and Austin Eckler is the more elusive back? I think that's the scenario that we have to consider that is actually a true scenario.
I just think this is going to be a full committee for the rest of the year. I think Eckler's kind of earned his role in the offense, and they've catered. He's obviously has probably certain plays that are drawn up specifically for him. So I think Eckler going forward, he just play him every single week. He's a set and forget every single week.
And Melvin Gordon hasn't been like the healthiest running back. I don't think he's played a full season. He's been close, I think, once. I think he had 15.
he played the whole season last year.
No, he didn't. He missed.
Oh yeah, you're right. He missed against the Steelers.
Yeah, I
We
think
just
he's had a
talked about that.
115 game season.
You're right. Yeah, I just from the reports that I've come across, it seems like they have so much faith in Melvin Gordon, and I'm gonna stand by. I'm still trying to trade Austin Eckler. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get rid of him.
I just feel like you're selling low on Austin Eckler if you trade him. Because if Melvin Gordon gets hurt again, you have a top 5 running back.
For sure. That's
And
true.
if Melvin Gordon doesn't get hurt, you still have a flex.
I'm just in a position where I have Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler. I had Eckler and Jackson. Fucking Melvin Gordon showed up on the waiver wire somehow. I have Melvin
Well, see,
Gordon.
in that
I picked
situation,
him up.
I would see what I could do. I would see what I'd get from Melvin Gordon. Because people are going to be like, oh, this is his first week back, this and that. I feel like you can get a lot more from Melvin Gordon. And honestly, there might not be much of a difference between the two this year. As crazy
Yeah.
as it sounds, but like it is like there's the efficiency part of it, losing offensive linemen.
I would
and
say it
then there
depends
is the,
on
like,
who you're trading with. If you're trading with someone that this is their first year playing fantasy football and they don't understand that Melvin Gordon's had these previous years, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Trade Eckler.
But like
in my opinion.
player A
But-
for
but
player
if
B,
somebody-
you're going to get a lot more from Melvin Gordon than you are for
Yeah,
Austin Eckler.
for people who know their shit.
And there might not be much of a difference this year.
So I would
there
say
really
that-
might not.
I would say it probably depends on who you're trading with.
Yeah.
If they've been around for the past couple of years, or if they've only been here for this year. You know, there is some guys that you play fantasy football with. I never paid attention to this
Yeah.
year. They have Eckler on their team. You know,
Yeah. No, but yeah, you could do that too. That's a good point.
Yeah. Just
But I see
food for
Eckler,
thought.
number 8 running back, whatever he is, 9, 10, whatever he is. Oh yeah.
If you're gonna sell them on like this is like their first year understanding fantasy.
I would just poke at both and see what I can get.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what we move for
Yeah.
Gordon, and then see what I can get for both of them.
Sure. All right. Did we talk about receivers on the Chargers end?
No, I mean Keenan Allen. I know he didn't have the best game last week, but you're still throwing him in there. Something I saw here.
Yeah, if you can buy low, this is probably your only week to buy low.
Yeah,
So go.
The Steelers allowed. Yeah, he's have to have a boom game. The Steelers allowed the most yards and the most completions to slot wide receivers. So he's about to be the wide receiver one of the week.
And I think that's just kind of because we've stopped that deep threat. And
Yeah.
I think that you're forced into throwing those slot receiver like slant routes and stuff like that.
So Keenan Allen, you're down him up. What about Mike Williams though? He's kind of. I'm still waiting for him to hit his stride. It's like I want to see it.
You're like the council
This
with
is
Darwin Thompson.
No, I mean, I think he had 14.
Donjo Inman
I think he had
fucking
14
sucks.
targets last week. So a ton of targets last week.
How many? 14?
I think he had a ton of targets, right?
A fuck ton?
I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that one, but
Who?
Mike Williams.
Let's see.
I don't know if it was that much, but
I don't think it was that many. Yeah,
you might be right.
you might be right.
I think that
You're
it's
wrong. It was
13.
I mean, dude,
13 targets.
in
though,
a fantasy world. That's insane. That's
Yeah,
an
that's a lot.
insane.
I mean,
amount of
you like seeing that though. Just
Well,
kind
that's where
of
people like who are just like normal. Like, sorry to cut you off. Like, oh, he only had 6 receptions for 74 yards. He cut me off twice. We're even.
Yeah. You owe me one still.
Yeah.
You still owe me one.
Yeah, but it's like people see, for 6 for 74, but like the targets is like, okay, he was targeted 13 times.
Yeah.
That's where it's like people don't pay attention. All that stuff are going depths. Like,
right.
They don't
And how
see
many of
stuff
those?
like that.
How many of those targets were in double coverage or something? Like they're forcing the ball to him, probably.
But you want to see that. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
but that's
saying?
what I'm saying.
You like to see double-digit targets.
No, I'm
Good
agreeing
size.
with you. I'm
Yeah,
agreeing with
okay.
you. I'm saying is that like the reason he might have only gotten 6 receptions was because of that, but the targets are still there. He's fucking huge. He is.
He's a big guy, big red zone guy. I mean,
Huge
I'm
dick.
kind of thinking, Sunday night football. Maybe this would be the Mike Williams breakout game
For sure.
We'll see what happens there though. But I mean, I have to play him in a league. He's a wide receiver 3 flex guy for me.
Yeah, I think he's a
until we
flex.
see more. But
Well,
like I said, in my league, I'm flexing him in 2 leagues because I kind of
He's your guy, though.
Yeah, he's my guy. He's my guy.
I'm not mad at that. 13
No, I mean,
targets.
I've liked Mike Williams too, and so like to point out to the targets, 5, 7, 13. Those are the only 3. I don't know what he was week 1. I'm looking at 2 through 5.
week 1 he got banged. He left I think early.
Yeah, it was like he got hurt. 3 receptions, 6. Like so the targets aren't matching up, but 83 yards, 45 yards, 74 yards. So just playing an average of numbers games, 8 targets, 4 or 5 catches, 50, 60 yards. That's a decent floor on a PPR value.
for sure.
So I think, but the upside is like we've seen like 2 touchdown games from him. We've seen 100+ yards. So
Yeah.
I think in a PPR he's a good flex. If they scheme to take away Keenan Allen, it's going to leave Mike Williams a little bit more open. So I don't hate it.
Yeah, I think what it is with him is he got banged up that first week, and then he's getting better from that. And then he had like something with the back, so I still think he hasn't been 100% healthy. And I know we've said this before in podcast before that most of the players aren't 100% healthy throughout the year. So
Yeah.
I still think he's kind of battling through some injuries, and he's trying to get back up to like full speed. And so maybe he kind of finally is there. So maybe he does, Sunday night football under the bright lights.
Yeah.
Maybe he finally hits his stride.
Shows up.
And he shows
And back
up,
issues suck. Ask Mike Tyson.
Spinal.
Fine. You got to get that as a drop.
Right,
Every time someone has a back
next.
issue, I broke my back. What happened? Spinal.
Spinal.
All right, we can move on to the Monday night game.
Fuck it, send it in.
The Lions and the Packers. All right, so we got the Lions
Rawr.
and the Packers. I don't think cheese makes noise. Unless you're a mouse or meese. All right, so Lions side. Matthew Stafford. I know it seems like usually the Packers, it's a shootout game, but the Packers defense has been playing pretty well against quarterbacks. They've been shutting oppositions down, receivers. I don't know. What's your take on how do you feel about Matthew Stafford this week?
I'm probably fading Stafford in this one. One thing I know you can run, like kind of so far, you've been able to run on the Packers, but their pass defense has been pretty good.
Yeah, I was going to tie into that when I said that, but you did it.
Oh my bad.
You got it. No, we did it together. It was a joint effort.
We double teamed the fuck
Double-teamed
out of
it.
that.
Yeah, I covered it. It was like a neighbor.
But yeah, so Yeah, I'd probably be fading. Even both these quarterbacks, I don't like. I think both these quarterbacks would probably be like out of my top, at least my top 8.
Finally,
Maybe
you guys
top
are coming
10.
around.
Top, you know what I'm saying? Again, I've said it before, but I would just like Kirk Cousins off the top of my head. I would keep reverting back to him. Watch him just have a
So
total shit game.
you really like Kirk Cousins this
Yeah,
week.
he's about to have a terrible game. I just tell you that much. He's about to shit the bed because I'm all in on him this week.
No, but you're right with that Lions side of the ball. Like the Packers are shutting down the pass. Or let me try and look it up real quick. They're giving up 14.4 points per game to the quarterback position, so not very nice. But they're giving up 25.4 games to the running back. So they're giving up more points to the running back than quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think it's the past. I looked up some matchup history just because of survival, and the Lions have like a 4-0 streak, but Packers are a completely different team this year.
Yeah,
defensive wise.
It's a defensive wise, and it's just a different coaching scheme is different.
Yeah, everything's different about new coach. Everything's different,
Yeah.
so you can't really base that.
I mean, so you fire up Kerryon Johnson. That's no brainer.
Yeah,
I think he's seen I think touch wise, he's like a top 8 touch wise running back over the last 2-3 weeks. Ever since they got rid of C.J. Anderson.
Yeah, averaging 21 touches per game.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think he's someone if
love
you could
seeing
buy,
that.
I would buy him.
Yeah.
If there's the chance that you can still buy him, people are like, oh, he hasn't had those massive blow up games yet, but I think he's going to be a top at least 15 running back the rest of the way, if not top 10.
The amount of work he's getting, once they cut C.J. Anderson, he's 70% snaps.
And the talent and pass catching, just everything involved. It's just he has huge upside the rest of the way. And I feel like he hasn't exploded yet.
I feel like it seems like they don't want him to be that guy, but he's just slowly becoming it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree.
Do you agree or you just saying?
No, I agree.
Okay.
No, I love Kerryon Johnson.
Okay. Me too.
Jasper never league last year, got him 2 this year.
Cool. Sick.
He's my dude. He's my bro.
Spit on him.
He's my bro. Receiver side, this is where it gets a little tricky. I think if you start one, you go on the Galladay side. Probably fading Marvin Jones in this matchup.
What about Danny Amendola? So yeah, T.J. Hawkinson. What about T.J. Hawkinson in this? I don't mind T.J. Hawkinson. I think that good defenses, a lot of times when you have a team playing a good defense, the tight end lights it up. Usually, in my opinion, that's how it seems.
You just got to monitor because I think he was banged up on the injury report, but I'm not against it. I think he'd be in that, that back half, 8 to 12, tight end type of range of. I mean, once you get past those first couple of guys, it's kind of a crapshoot. And you're kind of just hoping the guy gets to the end zone. I mean, he had that monster week 1 game. I know the matchup against the Cardinals has kind of just been money against tight ends. Couple dud games after that, but I mean, if you're willing to throw him in there, he got you some duds. I guess it can't get any worse. I guess it could. It can get you 0, but
All right, over under 7 points per game for the Packers, giving up points to the tight end. 7.
over.
Wait, what?
Over under points per game for Packers to the tight end position. 7. Tyler said over.
Yeah, I was gonna say over.
Under 4.4.
Ooh, that's gross.
I'm gonna still say over.
Your stats are fake.
No,
You
but I'm
lie,
saying
Steven.
that this weekend.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna say over 4,
half point PPR.
over 5. Half
5
point.
is nothing. It's like 2 catches.
Okay, over 7,
Half point PPR.
full point,
Half point PPR.
half point. Let's do it.
How was you gotta do? Score a touchdown, you win.
Yeah, half point.
This is the Get Lit podcast. Well, because receivers, we said Galladay. You kind of agree. That's it.
Yeah, I think if I'm going to pick one of the two, I'm going to lean Galladay and just I guess the touchdown upside would be more there. Just a tough matchup on paper. I mean, if you don't really like Stafford, and the matchup's tough, it kind of limits the upside for both of them to have a boom game.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to pick one, I'm probably leaning Galladay.
I think you still start Galladay. We've seen even in tough matchups. I know we pointed out a couple times last year. He's still the one there.
Yeah.
He's still talented.
Yeah, they call him Babytron for a reason.
Yeah. I think you still don't bench him. Talent sometimes prevails against even the toughest matchups.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess we move on to the Packers side of the ball. Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he's a must start.
He's not even the best Aaron on his team.
That's true. Valid point. Aaron Jones start. Aaron Rodgers. Let me try and look up some quarterbacks to where we can have this discussion because I feel like he's a name where you feel like he's a must start, but I've said it like a few weeks, and I think it's starting to get like realized by other people. It's like he's not necessarily a must start. It's a different offense. It's ran differently. It's more of a run heavy scheme defensive ran. It's a different offense just in general.
Yeah, for sure.
No Devontae Adams too as well. There that hurts his upside.
Has he been ruled out already, or?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm almost positive. I read earlier, but let me double check with that.
Who?
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams. I know he was
yeah.
questionable about playing, but
That's the worst is that turf toe because it's like I remember when I had Julio Jones like 3 or 4 years ago and he had that turf toe. It was just week to week.
I think he is going to be out this week, but the next week he should return.
Let's double check and let's make sure.
Yeah, let me try and look him up real quick.
This is pro stats right here from the average pro fantasy.
I mean, obviously, if there's no Devontae Adams, it obviously limits his upside. Because I've lost all faith in MVS and Geronimo Allison.
Me too.
Yeah, I just think whatever scheme they're running, it's not working with those two. It's a new offense. Whatever timing he used
It's
to
just
have in the
it's
old
just
scheme.
a running game. They're not.
Yeah, that
They're
too.
both.
And then whatever practice for 3-4 years he had in that scheme. It's just not the timing's just different with that too.
Yeah.
It looks like he's heading towards out. It's not a guarantee, but he's heading towards out right now. So someone you like this week, you like Kirk Cousins a lot. Would you start Kirk Cousins or Aaron Rodgers?
Kirk Cousins.
I'm on the same page as you with that. I think it's just a name where it's like people are just going to set it, forget it. But I kind of want to bring this up to
100%. I know he has finished outside the top 20 a couple times already. Like in terms of like QB for that week, he finished outside the 20 a couple times.
And that's not what we're used to seeing from him. We're used to seeing
who?
like Aaron Rodgers. It was like a top 8 performance at least every week, and like he was guaranteed to finish top.
I think
5.
they just realized that he's getting older and they want to focus. They don't want to rely on Aaron Rodgers to win them every game.
Yeah. And I mean, he
And I still think he
hasn't
can.
looked the same to your point. Like he's missed throws. He's been doing stuff where it's like, if I never watched football and I watched Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers play today, I'd be like, oh, Russell Wilson's way better quarterback.
Right. Without
Without knowing, but I'm saying if I watched, like this is my first time ever
For
watching
sure.
football.
Sure.
Let me see. Let's just look at some.
So don't be
names.
afraid to bench Aaron Rodgers. I feel like a lot of people with the name, they feel obligated to play him week to week.
Who's the
And
other guy you've been bringing up a lot?
Minshew.
Would you start Minshew or Rodgers?
I've been riding the Minshew and Kirk Cousins over everyone, so I think I'll start at Minshew.
Yeah, I mean, I it's so crazy to think that, but I mean, fuck.
Yeah, I think.
That would be tough to
That's the
actually
same.
It's a
click
tough
and
one.
submit, but
You got to let feelings go. It can't be.
You got to look at
Yeah.
statistics.
At the end of the day, yeah,
Statistics.
it's all about numbers.
Yeah.
You know what
And
it
if
is?
the numbers aren't lining up, you can't fall in love with the name.
You say Gardner.
I think
Aaron
I
Rodgers?
think I'd lean Rodgers in that one. It'd be close. Oh, fuck, it's a tough one.
You know
I
what?
think I go Rodgers.
You know what?
Barely.
You know what?
Fuck it, send it in.
I'm going fucking Gardner Minshew, bro.
Fuck it, send it in.
All right, I'm on the Minshew train. All three of
Minshew
us.
mania, dog.
Fuck it.
At least here's the thing with that I say is that at least you know if you started Minshew, he's getting 16 points every game minimum, so you know what you're getting. With Rodgers, the variations of the outcome are all over the board. I feel like
I'm trying to find out how many. Matt Ryan, Kyler Murray.
for sure those
Yeah.
guys, yeah, for sure.
I feel like this is a question where maybe Mike you can even post this on the page because I feel like people might like.
Yeah.
Rodgers is like I feel like for most people they're starting him no matter what for the most part.
Yeah. Like a Rodgers or Wentz. Now that would be getting close. I think
Yeah.
I'd actually go Rodgers just because he's at home. It is Monday night. Wentz is on the road. Tough matchup against the Vikings defense.
I go Rodgers there too. What
Ro-
about Winston or Rodgers?
Probably going Winston just because even if he throws 3 picks, he could still throw you 300 yards
upside.
and 3.
Yeah, and the attempts and the defense is bad.
Yeah.
I think I go Winston too.
What about
What about okay? This is gonna start. This is where it starts to get a little uglier. Kyle Allen or Rodgers?
Rodgers? I'm just gonna take it's Monday night under the primetime lights.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Rodgers. And then you got Cyborg. He just gets like 5 touchdowns a game.
What about Jared Goff or Aaron Rodgers?
I think I'm Rodgers in that
I
one.
think I'm going Rodgers on that one too.
Rodgers for sure. Jared Goff. Yeah, Rodgers.
Let's see if I can find any more that would be. I feel like we've touched on most of them. Dak, Rodgers,
Dak.
Rodgers or Kirk Cousins.
He's
Kirk
Cousins. We both said that.
Rodgers
Well,
or
one thing I
Dak.
can say is the whole Devontae Adams thing. So if you have Devontae Adams, just have a backup plan because they don't know if he's going to play or not. I mean, the last thing you want to do is have him in your lineup and then he's ruled out and now you don't have an option. So if, let's just say, for instance, I know Marvin Jones was available in some leagues when we did the waiver wire episode. Like if he's there, I'd go grab him. If Al Geronimo's there, MVS, go grab one of those guys. Just have a backup plan in case Devontae Adams doesn't play. Then at least you can have someone to throw in to your lineup. I mean, even if any points is better than having a 0-point performance for a guy who's hurt.
No, that's a great point. Like that is honestly a great point. Like if you're gonna chance it and you're gonna wait till Monday night, make sure you have a backup plan. Make sure, like I said, if Marvin Jones is there, grab him. That's a great backup plan. Geronimo, MVS, grab those guys now. Because it's the Monday night game, so you have to wait till Monday. You lose everybody that played on Sunday.
And that's a reminder if if you have somebody that's playing on Sunday, and say you have like a Devontae Adams, throw Devontae Adams in your flex, so that way you can pick up like one of those running backs or something like that.
Yeah, and you can put someone else in there. Yeah, or you can put,
I don't know who you would put for Monday.
Well, I mean, you could put like worst case scenario, you could put the Carson guy, the running back, the Carson. Like if Jamal Williams is out, or you put Jamal Williams in there, so you could flex them both. So no, like when you said that's smart too.
Yeah,
we're making facts.
It's more Thursday night football advice, but we're here.
But it plays for Monday night too.
Yeah, it really does.
And that's the.
What about the defense?
Oh, Packers D.
I guess if you can run all over them, it's tough. I do like the Packers D going forward though. So
yeah. I think when you get run over a team is what happens is like the turnovers are limited.
Yeah.
Because you're able to like move the ball, like boom, 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 short passes, and it kind of limits the turnover.
There's just a lot of defenses that I would rather play Steelers defense. I'd rather play Cowboys. I'd rather play Ravens. I'd rather play even Redskins defense. I would play
Dolphins defense.
Yeah, maybe.
I was kidding.
Kind of, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, no,
Maybe.
not over the Packers defense, but I would play those defenses. Niners defense, even against the Rams, I would play that.
The who?
The Niners.
Over the who?
What?
Over what defense?
The Rams. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
I think we've reached our limits.
Yeah, we've reached our limits. This is our first time doing the all the matchups in one episode. I kind of like it. We're at 2 hours and 18 minutes. Not bad.
Not bad.
Not
Kinda long.
bad. It's super long, but if we clip them together.
It's a long time to sit in a chair, bro.
It is a long time to sit in a chair, but I feel like when we do, anyway, we'll talk about it after the podcast. Let's go. Daddy's here. You're here. We're here. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you.
If you're just tuning in, then we're on the Mac giveaway.
But yeah, if you're still here and you didn't hear it in the beginning, Marlon Mack. We got a signed jersey by Marlon Mack.
2 more days? Yeah, 2 more days.
Yeah, 2 more days. Sunday we'll be announcing the winner. We're going to start doing giveaways every week. So if you want to get in on this giveaways, for sure go follow us on the Average Bros _fantasy football Instagram page. We have all that information there. And you can win. We're going to start doing these weekly giveaways, and you don't want to miss out.
Yeah, this is not a fake ass giveaway where it's like, oh yeah, we send you in a loop and it's fake ass shit. Like, we'll send that shit.
Yeah,
Winner's
it's
gonna
all
get it.
authenticated. Authenticated.
Yeah.
It's all it's legit. It's all legit stuff. We don't fuck around, dude.
Yeah, we don't.
We suck dicks and take names, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's time to suck today's dick.
Yeah, dude. It's time to suck today's dick. It's time to suck today's fantasy football dick.
Yeah. Tyler left for 10 seconds. He's like, oh my God. Left him alone.
Left him alone. We're talking about dicks. Listen, if you could leave us a review on our Apple Podcast, on the Apple Podcast app. If you're listening to us through Apple Podcasts, just scroll down, give us a 5-star rating, give us a review. That is super, super helpful. We appreciate that. if you could also, what else we got?
Ask us questions.
Yeah, ask us questions. We're going to start doing question videos also on the Instagram. We're going to start posting them on YouTube and shit or stuff late in the future.
Yeah, so you can kind of see like our thought process. Like you're saying, like, hey, let's just example. Let's start Joe Mixon or James Conner, but and we'll go through details, this and that. So you get the process, and you can see how we're kind of like analytically trying to evaluate the situation, and then we give you the information. You intake the information. You make your best educated guess. The probability. You start who you want to start. That's it. End of the day. Blah.
Hell yeah.
Science.
So yeah, if you want to do all that, or I mean, if you want to watch all that. Sorry, dude, I'm fucking tired.
Yeah, I think we're all tired. We're gonna start recording another day.
Yeah, I know. We need to start recording another day. We just always watch the game, and then it's just this thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, this has been the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. If you want to support us, throw $10 in the Thrive Fantasy Daily Fantasy app. It's a prop betting app. Throw $10 in. Use the promo code Average Bros. No, it's not case sensitive, and they'll give you an extra $10. Appreciate that.
Hey, be rich like us. We're up like what, 20K now?
Yeah, we're up like $20,000.
Went from 8 to 4 to 20. Like, dude, we're fucking rich.
Yeah, we're pretty fucking loaded right now.
Yeah, we don't even need your sponsors.
We're what you call multi-thousandaires.
Yeah.
Anyways, this has been the Matchups episode 29 of the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. We appreciate you for listening, and we're fucking out, dude.
Whee!